cancel anytime your profile.
All right,
$40
we're here.
Spin then. So everybody, anything.
Sorry, Alex
become
is
a
promoting
VIP.
something.
Cancel anytime. Get special deals, special offers on all the T-shirts, widest selection.
Welcome to the YellBro Road. We're here for the Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes debate, I guess. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I guess Epstein will be a decent chunk of it. Maybe it's Trump overall. But obviously, Alex has been a full of shit dick rider of Trump, and Nick has had some critiques of Trump. So this should be interesting. Remember, check out the links, description box, check them out. If you want to donate or share or read their stories, please do it in the description box. Thank you. But without further ado, I will not hit unmute. And should I do this? Because it's kind of funny, actually.
So I decided to buy this methylene blue. This
methylene
blue, it is tremendous. I would not be making this video if I didn't believe in it.
Ultra
After
methylene
I take
blue.
it throughout the day, I start feeling better and better.
Do not take them next to SSRIs.
I feel like I'm 15 years younger than I am, and the app that I record my running on proves that my workouts are getting better. So I gotta tell you what. God, family, country, InfoWars, and methylene blue.
God, country, methylene blue.
And once she takes the methylene blue, she starts talking like Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah. Of course, he's like waiting for the Nick fans to show up, so he's like, all right, let's sell this.
But he's going on Owen in about 30 minutes. My show just ended and I forgot to do this. Don't forget when he's on Owen to tell us what.
Yeah, Hunter Biden, he was on methylene blue.
We'll put that
True.
out. So Stuart, go ahead and take a half dropper or so. That's what half does. And then go ahead and shut that down. And then we're going to find out.
Except he got his from some guy named Jerome on 51st Street. Yeah. Where he got his blue meth. I mean methylene blue. Sorry. But okay, seriously, in all seriousness, this should be interesting. Because I'm curious, like, yo, Nick, Alex is obviously full of shit. I don't think he's stupid. I think he's like actually full of shit. I think he's like an actor or like paid for or threatened by some other quote unquote higher powers. He seems sus as fuck to me. And after all these events with Epstein and it's for real, all of it, economy, Gaza, foreign policy, there has been sus up and down the street, right? So Nick, maybe you want to play like you're a friend of Alex Jones's, or maybe you think you are a friend of Alex Jones's, but I'm sorry, bro. If he was my friend, I'd let him know, like, man, are you fucking lying to people, dude? That's what Nick has to do, in my humble opinion. Otherwise, I think it's an intellectual runaround, like Dave Smith debates, where it's like, oh, I feel better because Alex was wrong about this, and see, look, the factoid that Nick threw out there, Alex can't account for, so thus, we all win. Versus, like, oh, this is not, like, some guy just being dumb. Right? This is a matter of someone being, like, full of shit, which is a completely different context. But, you know what? We'll find out after this TRT commercial.
Now, 4 or 5 months ago, I actually started to hurt myself because the workouts were so crazy. My trainer goes, dude, what's going on? Like 3 days into it, I go, I don't know. I was like lifting way more.
By the way, Alex is selling products meanwhile he's on TRT. Let's be honest. That is the real juice. That is the real amplifier for him. It's TRT. You see him like red in the face like Rogan.
This stuff's wild.
Yeah, it's good.
Right.
I like it better than doing like a 5-hour energy shot because those will make you crash afterwards. This doesn't have the crash.
So you've had no crash.
No crash.
No crash. As he sips a beer, I guess.
So I've been using it while I'm out there doing search and rescue. So I'm almost out.
You're saying you love it for working out. Has it gotten better over time, or what long-term thing have you felt, or if nothing?
Let's be honest. All these older men that have money, they're probably on some chemical that isn't methylene blue. They're probably on TRT, right? Testosterone replacement, right? They're probably on that. If I had to guess. So thus, I'm not going to trust your fucking little infomercials about the holy water that you have.
Right, exactly. Old school stuff.
But you can't take it if you're on
He's doing planks with a
You
plate on
can't
his back.
take it.
What was that, like a 15-pound plate on his back? I mean, what's Alex, like 50-something maybe? It's not bad. That's not bad, right? Do planks with like a 15-pound plate on your back. Okay. Yeah, they made Nick look more masculine here. It's kind of crazy. I know he's like 100 and... Sorry. I know he's like 98 pounds.
4 days ago, Trump put out that Justice Department memo. I said Trump's behind it.
All right, here we go. I'll turn the volume back up. Let's lock in.
Shut up about it. I said this is incredibly suspicious. And now they're running around with the Justice Department meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. It looks bad. But people have taken what I've said out of context when I'm wargaming this, because I think they would have used information against Trump if they had it before. But that said, now the jury's out on Trump. The jury's in on the Democrats and Epstein Island and Bill Gates and Larry Summers and all the rest of it. So I'm not an apologist for Trump. All I get is persecuted.
You just brought up Larry Summers because Trump brought him up.
President Trump.
Was Alex saying Larry Summers before Trump was saying it? I don't think so, right?
Before he came on.
No.
Probably
not. I'm
not
not saying it's a wrong critique, but out of context, you could see it. No, I'm looking for the truth. And my issue is, do we throw out Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and all the good things that are happening? If stuff comes out,
Tulsi Gabbard's doing the right thing.
Of course, I'm going to expose it. I mean, I'm not tied to that wagon.
If you're full of shit, yeah, she's
in the larger issue, is the Epstein issue the only issue? And it's not like Nick Fuentes just came out and said, I'm against Trump now. He said it a year and a half ago.
What do you know?
He was a big supporter early on. It's how I met him 9 years ago. I think Nick's a smart guy and I agree with most of the things he says. Disagree with some. So
no, you don't. I don't think so.
We are having a large discussion. You call it a debate here.
I don't believe that.
But I want to be 100% clear. I will go where the facts lead. I'm not an apologist for Trump. But
how many times are you going to say that?
We need to recognize that the Democrats and the ADL and the Republicans joining him do not want this discussion.
I'm not gay. I swear to God, I'm not gay.
They do not want Alex Jones on X or InfoWars. They do not like this tonight because they don't want you to hear a real, unfiltered discussion. Because I sent Nick a text like last Tuesday and said, will you come on debate? He said, yeah, how about next Wednesday night? I said, great, we're doing it. That's the only discussions we've had. All right? And so this isn't some scripted debate. This is a real discussion. And it's not about who's smarter, and it's not about, I don't mind all that.
By the way, people watching,
old, super smart. Thought he was smart when I first met him 9 years ago.
This is absolutely off the cuff.
He's a great interview. He's great
Alex
for the show.
Saying, yeah.
I've got a big show.
We're also
it's
being
not about
off the
personalities.
cuff.
To me, it's about really figuring out what's happening. But to open the debate, and I'll give him the floor for the next 10 minutes.
Not pre-recorded.
I want to be clear. If you actually watch my show, I'm not running defense for Trump.
Rewinding.
I don't know what the truth is. I'm completely free.
You are completely running defense for Trump.
Insanely guilty. And I've only wargamed every angle of this, trying to figure out what's going on. Because I do a 4-hour show. And the Democrats ran stuff nationwide.
Saying I
turned on
Sam
Trump 23 days ago. I don't care about being on CNN and ABC and NPR and everything.
A little bit, right? Like
those
Rudy.
People listen to me anyways. But they take
Sean
clips out of context.
A little bit.
I know they do that. I just don't want Nick and my viewers to do that. I want you to listen to what I'm actually saying. Clearly, Epstein's Mossad. The CIA has asked Trump to cover it up. I think that's a no-brainer. The question is Trump involved? If he was, where is the evidence? So I haven't figured this out yet. And all I'm doing is
damn, you're slow.
Stream of consciousness. What you get on my show is what I'm thinking. No scripting, no nothing. And usually my job's easy. Is fentanyl good?
Stream of consciousness.
Is good? No.
We saw his desk.
Good? No.
Full of
like
50 notes.
My job, 95% of the time, is very easy. It's these type of issues where I can tell the listeners, I
Off the top of my head.
So, Nick, you've got the floor to say whatever you want here. I'm going to shut up for about 10 minutes because I've been talking for about 5. And then I'm going to ask you the question after that. Maybe you can address it now. Okay, we can send Trump to Mars. What comes next? Is this accelerationism? What if Kamala was in? Would that be better? Maybe it would because it pisses us off more. I just don't know. So
he's trying to lock you in.
This is one of the few issues where I will tell listeners I don't know, and all I can do is war game each scenario.
You can if you want.
Just ask people to realize. If you
he wants to take it to like, well, Kamala be better?
Because I will then say something completely different.
Yeah, Alex wants to go
actually
there.
Go there. I want to hear that
so
too.
Nick is simulcast this on Rumble, Nick J. Fuentes, and on X. Great to have you, Nick. Thank you so much for the time.
Hey, Alex, great to be with you. Yes, well, we did promote this as a debate, and we hyped it up and everything. But I agree with you. I think it is more fruitful as a discussion because, like you, I think me and the audience, we're trying to get to the truth. We want to know what is really going on here.
Oh, wow.
And I also agree with you that we don't know. And that's sort of the nature of it. That's why people have a problem.
I don't believe that.
We just don't know because the government is not releasing the files. And this Epstein scandal has been like many of the other scandals concerning the deepest and most sordid types of corruption. It's concealed. It's hidden.
You're a quarter, right?
It's not government transparency.
Yes.
And without transparency, there can't be accountability. And so all of this is happening in the shadows.
That guilt topic?
Now, that gets to my biggest criticism of Trump. And, you said
sounds a lot like this topic. That's all I'll say.
Wait, go ahead.
No. I don't want to derail the argument. It's just that I don't want to derail this. Go ahead. We'll talk about it later. It's not that important.
Okay. All right. There we go.
And I understand where you're coming from. You say, are there other issues besides the Epstein issue? I've heard a lot of people say this. They say that for the MAGA base, which I consider myself a part of, even though I didn't vote for Trump, I'm the demographic. If the MAGA base is in revolt over the Epstein files, people say, are you throwing out the baby with the bathwater? What about the secure border? What about the progress that's
I'm one of you guys.
As you say, by RFK Jr., by Tulsi Gabbard, the good things that are happening in the administration? Is it worth it? In other words, people say.
Gino looks like Michael's cousin, bro. He looks like MJ's cousin.
Realistically, doesn't actually affect people's daily lives. They say, is that?
I was about to say he looks scared as fuck.
My position is that you can't compartmentalize these isures. Contrary to that take or that defense, I don't think you're capable.
If he had a better fitting
to separate and cordon off the Epstein issue.
You look more comfortable.
And say that's over here, and immigration and foreign policy and the rest of it is over there. Because the proposition of the first Trump campaign going back 10 years ago in 2016, or even in 2015 when Trump ran in the primary, he said that the reason that our politicians had failed us over 30 years on both sides, Republican side, Democrat side, the right and the left, he said is not for a lack of trying, not for a lack of will. He said it's because the system has failed us. It's because of corruption. They can't deliver a real victory because they're not beholden to the people. Instead, they're beholden to foreign interests, special interests, donors, political PACs. And there was a suggestion of blackmail. There's a suggestion of a shadow operation happening behind the scenes. So why do we get these policies that are bad for America, like free trade, foreign wars, mass migration? They said, well, it's because the politicians are not really the ones running the country. They're not running the country on behalf of the voters or the people, but rather they're being controlled by the money or the intelligence agencies or by some shadow element, the nature of which we don't fully understand. Now, he said, in contravention of all of this, I will run and I will deliver the real victories. I will reverse all the policies because I'm not controlled by those interests. And there was this foil with him and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton personified that system. And she did come from the Democrat side, but she personified realistically both sides. The Bush dynasty, the Clinton dynasty, the Republicans, the Democrats, the Dennis Hasterts, and
you guys are just looking at each other.
Hillary Clinton was the epitome of corruption and the epitome of globalism. And so at 16, you have this proposition of, I'm going to run with no foreign influence, no blackmail. I'm going to fight the corruption and then deliver the victory. Now, fast forward 10 years later, and Trump seems to be covering up what is really the scandal of all scandals. It's the worst kind of scandal. every negative attribute involved. It's children, it's sexual trafficking, it's blackmail, it's foreign intelligence, it's billionaire oligarchs. And you say if Trump is covering that up, we lose faith in him. He loses all credibility as that leader, as that Caesar-like leader, this once-in-a-generation figure leading a once-in-a-generation populist movement. It strips it of that character.
I'm your daddy, Nick.
And to get maybe a lot of this is rhetoric. Let's make it more concrete.
Don't know it yet, though.
If Trump is burying the Epstein files, which we don't know the information because that's exactly what's happening, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, as the night progresses. But if Trump is burying these Epstein files and we can't trust him, it leads to questions like, why are we not getting mass deportations? Why are we getting a war with Iran? The timing of all this is a little conspicuous too. Is it because there's maybe more to the story? Do we have to draw a negative inference that he's covering these things up because he's named in them, because he's a participant in them? He's compromised by them in some way. Is that why we're not getting what's delivered? And how can we trust that he will deliver in the future? So to answer maybe the big defense of Trump, and I agree with you, we have to steel man the other position. We may not even agree with it. We might state it simply to entertain it. If the pro-Trump side is saying, if their argument is, well, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, the Epstein thing is a narrow, singular issue. Okay. If that's the primary defense, I would have to say it's not good enough, because if he's named in these files, then everything is compromised.
It's absolutely.
Everything is touched and poisoned by the corruption. And when this cover-up is going on, unfortunately,
we just heard that.
We cannot assume that he is not touched by it. We actually have to draw a negative inference. That's sort of the whole point.
Ew.
And I, like you, I actually don't believe that Trump is necessarily guilty. I think that is a assumption. I think that's an inference. I don't even think it's necessarily true that Trump was on the island, or that Trump was raping kids, or that there's a videotape of Trump. I don't think that's even likely. But when he has covered it up in the way that he has, and as he's dug this hole deeper and deeper, having the DOJ cover it up, asking the FBI to look for his name. They told him his name was in there. Now he says his name was planted in there. He says the whole thing's a hoax. You actually have to draw a negative inference and assume if he's covering it up, there must be something there. If there wasn't something there, they would release the files.
Okay,
and
Nick.
So that's why I think this entire thing has disqualified him completely. I don't think it's one narrow issue, a singular issue among others. And even if it were, it's not a minimal issue. I think it touches everything. And I think the very nature of these types of cover-ups, the nature of the opacity, the fact that it's opaque, the fact that we cannot see through it, the fact that it's been covered up and there's been a deception, there's been an active cover-up, an attempt to change the subject and lie about the nature of it. We actually have to draw a negative inference, and we actually have to assume that there is something damning in there. That's why we're not getting it.
No,
but the case, and that means he's corrupt and he's in on it with the rest of them. Now, I want to answer the question you said at the end, because that's actually super important. I'll sort of treat this like an opening statement. I don't want to ramble on and on and on.
No. You got like 3 or 4 minutes left. Keep going.
That's a lot of time.
And to your point about what comes next, because that's a very good question. A lot of people wonder if Trump is failing, or that's the perception on many of these issues, like the foreign policy, like immigration, like the Epstein cover-up. Question is, well, what comes next? Are we at the mercy of the left now? Are we supposed to now just be buried under Zohran Mamdani's and Kamala Harris's and race communists and Sharia law and this sort of thing? What I would say about Trump...
I'm sorry for pausing this, but it's Nick appealing to the fucking crowd. He just heard of this Mamdani guy like yesterday, probably, right? So thus, he's appealing to the fucking crowd. It's not actually he's trying to win over, I guess, InfoWar fans, probably.
Isn't the bigger indictment that he... Because remember when he was blowing up on Trump a couple weeks ago, so Alex Jones as well, he's kind of trying to temper expectations of, or not expectations, but loyalty to Trump and the Republican Party of, we're not beholden to you. You're not our cult leader. That's what Jones said. And this guy was like bemoaning it, besmirching him and saying, "Yo, we don't need you," which is something I heard Nick say while Trump was running. And I guess he was trolling then. he was saying shit like the Vanguard covered, the fucking Wayne and Garth was covering that shit, where he's like, we need our own party, we need our own leaders, but at the same time, that's his problem. He's caught in the two-party illusion as well, and he's seeing now what progressives saw 8 years ago. We're like, oh, we really have nowhere to go, and if we keep trusting the big parties, we're getting fucked over. But he's still falling into it though. He's doing the Kyle. He's Kyle circa 2017. Like, yo, we got to do the justice stems now. We got to take over again. It just recycles. It's the same old fucking narrative recycled again.
Yeah. Well, these guys realize that they need like for their thing to happen, like they need actual like political power, right? Or at the very least, just one seat at the table with whatever political power takes over, right? That is what Kyle or Nick are looking for, right? Now, I wish it was about righteousness or about morality, about like
it's not.
Do the right thing or not do the right thing, right? Like that's the standards, but no, it's not. It's about power. I assume at this point.
And at the same time, yes, it's about power. And at the same time, they have a better shot of hitting the lottery than they do of getting a politician to do what they want on its face. Like on its face, oh, I think this is the right or moral thing to do, and I'm going to support this politician because on paper they're saying they're going to do this, and then they get let down later. But at the end of the day, the only people that really win are Nick wins no matter what. All Nick has to do is be a figure in the conversation, and he's winning. It doesn't matter the outcome. Kyle, same. Alex Jones has already reaped the rewards these guys are trying to get.
Yes.
Alex Jones is in the position Nick wants to be in. Maybe he has maybe the character Nick is playing wants the material differences to be another way, but at the end of the day, Alex Jones is what Nick Fuentes wants to be. Joe Rogan is what Nick Fuentes wants in his own image, not the image of Joe Rogan, but at the stature. He's looking for that stature, win or lose. He's in. That's his path to victory, is having a more prominent role in the political sphere, which means we get fucked in the process.
Do you want to like? I want to hit play soon, but like, the scary part of this is that these guys, once again, Nick could be honestly like him, right? Like he could be like honestly like, this is my personality. These are my beliefs, right? Granted, it's probably based on conditioning and all that shit, but whatever, right? He could be honestly him, right? But these fools think that if I start like compromising for the sake of getting political power, it'll work out.
It'll add up later on.
Yes,
it'll all even out later on, and it never does. That's the most. Yeah. That is the most flawed way of thinking. And at the end of the day, he's not the one that suffers. It's his supporters that suffer.
Yeah.
Following him down that path, they're the ones that get the short end of the stick. Nick wins no matter what. Kyle Kalinske wins no matter what. Ben Shapiro wins no matter. All these commentators, they don't get paid for the result of what happens. They get paid for the vibes of the moment and saying something that propels them further in notoriety terms.
Mm-hmm. And then, once again, let's take Nick seriously and say, like, okay, he really means what he's saying, right? But then he ends up compromising for the sake of whatever idea, whatever political power he can get from something, right? It's like, yo, did you change them, or did they change you? Like, that is an actual question that these political commentators should actually like tussle with, actually, because I'm sorry, I don't see the neocon like Trump administration changing because you're yelling on the internet, Nick. I'm sorry, or Alex, or anyone, but you guys end up moving, talking, most likely, right?
He is talking to an unpaid spokesperson for the administration right now, as far as we know. On paper, unpaid. The what you just described, did he change the? Alex Jones changes by the day.
Yeah.
With the narrative he's sowing to be in line with the Trump administration's narrative. By the day, Alex Jones is changing with the anything the administration says or Trump says, he is molding it into his conversation,
Yes.
so that
Alex
he actually sounds like he has, like, how many times have we heard unnamed sources, this person in the government, like I'm like, bro, this guy is, forget journalistic malfeasance, this guy should be liable for the shit he's saying. Like, straight up, Alex Jones should be liable.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that Nick has an ounce of integrity. I'm not damning him, and I'm not praising him either. So I'll let Nick showcase where he's at. I'll like, you speak for yourself, Nick. I can't speak for you. No, sorry. Your fans can't do it either. So you speak for you, Nick. And I would hope, even though I disagree with a lot of ideas of this guy, I would hope there's a sense of integrity. And the only chance of you actually moving on something would be because someone made like a decent argument, not because, you're being tricked or you're tricking yourself, I guess, with strategy, right? Like, oh, okay, I'll buy these ideas so that I look like I'm, palatable for regular voters or regular politically active people, right? So I hope it's legit. That is all I'm gonna say. Let's hit play. Here we go.
Is this simple adage: when you come at the king, you can't miss. And what does that mean? Well, obviously, we all understand what that means. It means that when you come for the king, you have to finish the job. You cannot take half measures. It's actually worse to take a half measure. Finish the job.
I'm gonna rewind here, but these are all pauses.
What I would say about Trump is this simple adage: when you come at the king, you can't miss.
Pause.
And what does that mean? Well, obviously, we all understand what that means. It means that when you come for the king,
that first one might
to
be
finish the job, you cannot take half measures. It's actually worse to take a half measure, because if you come at the king, all you do is make the king mad. And the king has an army, and the king has power. So if Trump, and when I say the king, of course, I'm not even referring to Trump. I'm referring to this left-wing political system.
Wait,
if Trump has been coming at the king for 10 years with the 16 campaign, with January 6th, with the revenge campaign in 24, if that is a 10-year campaign going after the king and he's missing over and over, failing
at some
to
point
purge the bureaucracy, failing to implement Project 2025, failing to fire 50,000 employees, have the mass deportations, if it's this slow, if it's so unambitious, if he's already compromising and walking back and people are having to come up with defenses for it, well, what are we doing? All we're doing is pissing off the people that really run the world. And if you miss, they get the next reply. And they're going to come after all of us hard. Trump, you, me, the supporters, the people in the administration.
But you pause that real quick.
After January.
Yeah, God.
In his world, what he is saying does make sense, though. What he's saying to Alex Jones, in his world of stupidity, it does make sense. Because Alex Jones is painting. It is stupid, but I'm just saying he's painting the rosiest picture imaginable for Trump. And Nick is even though Nick has stupid reasons to say what he's saying, and generally speaking, you could extrapolate what he's saying as, he's not doing what he promised. Even on things you and me would be like, oh, that's not the worst thing in the world. But either way, like, in a combination of their ideology, he's betraying them. And it's like so that's where MAGA is. Are we going to acknowledge that he has betrayed us, or are we going to invent reality like Alex Jones?
But Anthony, they might actually rely on the Democrats are worse. That might be the actual end outcome of all this. Is like Democrats are worse, so thus we kind of won. right?
Yes, I have seen that. I have seen that.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
Can
but
be
at the
Alex.
end of the day, it's no different than when Obama won and he had control of both houses. Like Jimmy Dore always says,
Yeah.
"You had control of the house for 2 years." This is Trump's conundrum as well.
Yep.
He has control of everything right now, and he's not. He's not doing. He's going the opposite direction, even for these fucks. What they want.
He had more
He would have
than government. He had fucking the culture, like
Yes.
society in a way. Now when he got
He's fucking
started,
up. You're actually right. He's fucking up the vibe he created with his
yes,
win.
when he
You're
first
right.
won, he had the fucking culture by
He had,
right by him.
He's fucking it up but he's not fucking it up. He's fucking it up for those that laid their claim behind his name in his stead. They laid their claim to fame and to notoriety and to looking cool to hit whatever he decided to do, and he's shitting on them.
Yeah.
He shitted on them with Israel. He shitted on them with the Epstein list. He's even shitting on them with things they like, vulgar things they like yo, you're not going far enough, or yo, or they're like, or they're playing the other game where Rogan's like, oh man, that's not looking good. With Doge, he shitted on them with Doge. He shitted on them with the big beautiful bill.
Yeah, they're all losing. They're losing. They're taking
And
L's.
it goes back to what we're saying. It's like, yo, it seems like if you're a neocon, if you're a rhino, yo, Trump's the guy for you. He's fulfilling all your promises and then some.
Yeah, you're winning.
And if you're one of these new America First maverick guys that are like, nah, man, we're trying to change. He ain't changing, bro. He is a Richard Nixon.
Yeah, and he was
Richard
that.
Nixon. He is Ronald Reagan.
Well,
and he was that. And somehow he got forbid. It really comes down to he got forgiven because of what came before him. Oh, Biden's so bad, and Trump saying all the right things in their minds.
Yeah,
he's saying, I'm the peace candidate, no more wars.
But Ant, Nick knew not to vote for Trump. So
yes,
okay. What's his logic for that?
Yes,
I don't exactly know that. Like what his logic is for that.
He got on the winning team. This is my honest assessment. He got on the winning team. He got on it. He's no different than Dave Smith. They both got on the winning team. They may have reservations from their own ideology. Dave Smith is actually more embarrassing. This guy, we know he's a charlatan to an extent, or people should know he's a charlatan. He says Trump doesn't go far enough, murdering people and taking rights away in certain extents.
But someone could believe
Dave
that.
Smith
I'll leave room for that. I'll leave room for that.
Happened?
Like someone could actually believe that.
Well, I'm just saying,
gross, but
morally speaking, this guy's ideas don't track. They don't track even with MAGA. They don't track.
Yeah, but I have reservations for this guy in general. But go ahead with Dave.
No, Dave Smith. Yeah, and Dave Smith also fell into that conundrum, and he looks like a clown. At least this guy. He ain't taking it on the chin. He's fighting back. I'm like, nah, fuck him. Hey, man. That's what these guys are doing. That's a lot of you MAGA guys are doing, man. A lot of you MAGA guys got to wipe your chins, bro.
He's not lying, though. Anthony's not lying, bro. It's like, admit. Well, Nick did that, right? Nick admitted that. That's
what I'm saying.
He's like, I bought into something.
And that's the fight. These two. That's at the heart. That's the fight for those MAGA fucks. Sorry, but for those guys.
Yeah.
The heart of the argument is that either we acknowledge, because but let's play because it seems like Nick might do the Democrats are worse. I need to hear more. Let me hear more.
That's gonna be Alex's position.
Well, fair enough.
Alex is like the unofficial White House spokesperson.
Well, okay. Before I hit play, Nick is not exempt from fuckery. Let's be honest. I saw him on Infowars several months ago talking about random stories from Trump. This guy's not exempt from fuckery. Sorry, Nick fans.
I don't even think it was. I think it might have been a month ago. He was on
or
right before
whenever.
the war. It was relatively. Yeah, it might have been.
No, it was the first 100
right.
days. Is the video I'm talking about where he's like,
Oh,
"Yo, yeah, if Trump does something with Iran, it won't be because Israel dragged him. It's because he's like, they fucked that story up completely. They fucked it up, like misread it to a T. Like that's what actually Nick brought that to Alex Jones, the dirty, like, let's be real, dick lick of Trump. So yeah, Nick is not exempt from fuckery, in my humble opinion. But then again, I'm sure Nick fans that are, and I know Nick is pretty late on a bunch of things. So, but you learn when Nick learns. Got it. I understand that. But sorry, forgive people that like saw ahead of time. Forgive us for that. Anyways, let's keep playing here. Here we go.
You, me, the supporters, the people in the administration. We learned that the hard way after January 6th. In a way, we kind of already did this in the first term. Trump came at the king, was not equipped, did not have the personnel, did not have the expertise. There's arguments about what went wrong, but needless to say, it didn't work. And so they came back, and it was revenge of the Sith. It was Empire Strikes Back. They came down hard with the vaccine mandate, with the DOJ on the J6ers, with your lawfare, with the lawfare against Ricky Vaughn, against many people. We came at the...
No. The J6 people Trump. Were actually, like, Trump was like, arrest the criminals, arrest them, arrest the criminals and prosecute them, right? He was saying that about J6 people. Operation Warp Speed with the COVID vaccine, right? It wasn't, quote-unquote, mandatory, but it was, like, kind of mandatory, essentially. Like, well, you can't work, you can't do this, you can't do that unless you get this thing. And it's the best vaccine in the world. It's the best. Right? So, like, no. Yeah, exactly. Like, so, like, Nick can't go there, I don't think. That's a bad argument.
He has to be amnesic with things like that. That doesn't help anybody in the argument.
Yeah, well, I leave room for him, again, placating towards Trump fans to get them to, like, join him, essentially. But here we go.
King, we missed. The king cracked down hard. Here we are again.
Pause.
And it feels like deja vu all over again. We're coming at the king, coming at the establishment, and people say, well, what about immigration enforcement? What about these other good things that are happening? I would argue we're 6 months in. I don't know anybody that's satisfied. Now, people may be defending Trump and saying, hey, the best is yet to come. We passed the big, beautiful bill. We got the funding. And now, in the next 6 months, we'll ramp up deportations. In the second half of the term, that's when things are really going to get underway. He's only 6 months in.
Nick?
I would argue if we didn't hit the ground running, if we don't come at it with seriousness and guns blazing, if we're playing catch up 6 months in, a year out of the midterms, it's not going to happen. They will delay, they will procrastinate, they will sabotage, they'll throw up roadblocks like they did before. And what's going to happen is when we run out the clock at the end of this term, it's going to be the same thing, except the left is going to come back even harder and even more severe. And I question then, what good were the half measures if all they did was invite this reprisal? So that's why I really am an extreme skeptic. I know you're skeptical too. I've watched your show, and we did hype it up, and I said, I'm going to confront you. But if you watch your show, you've been critical, and you've talked about the Israeli element. No one can say you haven't been if they watch your show. I know you're a critic and a skeptic as well.
This is like a mass off.
And have been far more critical. We both want the truth, but I think we're both kind of mapping out. Trump has put both of us in a predicament, and the whole country. How do we now get out of it? That's really the question.
Let's get a bigger audience.
That's kind of where I'm
happy to be on that.
And for the purpose of this debate, or conversation, we could dispense with the rhetoric and just speak in practical terms. Where do we go from here? Because, like you said, we're very short on answers, and it's left us with a lot of questions.
I'm wrecked by a bunch of things he said right there. Well, first of all, he's answering for Alex, I think. Like, he's filling in the blank. Like, he's doing like what Alex does for Trump. Nick is doing for Alex, I think. Like, oh, you mean well, and you mean well, and you mean well, and you also mean well. So thus, right? He's like doing that, I think. Which is, to me, like, ugh. Let Alex talk for himself, first of all. And second of all, Alex has not been. I haven't seen him like that. I'm sorry. I don't see a meaning well person in regards to any of that shit. Also, fuck. I had a decent point that I fucking forgot. Damn it. Whatever. I'll hit play. I'll let it run. Here is Alex's.
What is that? When he says no half measures, what is the full measure for him?
Well, it's kick him out no matter what. Deportation, kick him out no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, other things, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, that part makes sense for him.
Net the woke bug at its core or whatever.
Well, thank you, Anthony, because you maybe remember my point of if we don't address like why are people coming over to like why are people crossing the border to get over here, right, in the first place? If we're not addressing that, we're not actually addressing the issue, even by Nick's standards, right? So, like that to me is like to ignore that, to be like, okay, numbers of people that are not, I guess, American over here, to just run with that instead of like looking at the actual addressing of the issues of like subjugation of different countries. And like Nick should know this, right? Economic hitman shit, or
he does not know
NAFTA, or things like that.
He does not know that shit.
Well, he better fucking learn.
We've seen Nick struggle. We've seen Nick basically, and this is not a Nick thing. This is a conservative thing of they disregard foreign policy.
Well, then he's lacking on the issue, right? If you're worried about
he's super lacking,
yeah. If you're worried about immigrants coming over here, then you should be like, why are they coming here, right? If he has some sort of presupposition of like, well, they want our freedoms or something like that, like that's not good enough. I'm sorry.
Well, like, and not only that,
leave your fucking home for that? No.
Yeah.
Right.
They also get into that narrative. I've even seen people on the left say that of, like Jimmy Dore says, "Oh, you should lock up whoever hires the illegal immigrants." But no one talks about the trade deals. No one talks about why that,
Anthony. That's why.
What happened?
They're established since the fucking 90s. That's why. Because it's a long ago thing.
Yeah, stay there. And it becomes reality, yet it's artificial. It was an artificial thing done to create a material reality. Yet but you can use that in reverse in other areas and like the Fed. They bitch about the Fed and how we live in a reality created by the cabal that created the Fed.
Yeah.
But then something more recent that a Democrat put in place doesn't get talked about. These trade, well, it wasn't just Democrats, it was Reagan. It was Nixon. And then it got smoothed through all the way down to Clinton. And now what Trump did his first time with the American trade agreement.
Yeah, USMCA.
The repackaged, it was like a repackaged NAFTA.
Yeah, USMCA. Yeah. No, exactly. And once again, I brought this up in a debate with someone where I'm like, yo, why do NAFTA but also build up your fucking border at the same time? Because based on like economics, like and businesses and like where like relocations would happen and shit like that, right? So thus I know that if I pass this idea, this bill, this economic plan, that all of a sudden there will be an influx of fucking illegal immigrants, right? People will try to like cross the border because their jobs are getting fucked over there, right? Like I know that, so thus let's beef up the fucking border. And Nick should actually look into that himself. Actually. Once again, I'm sure Nick fans will be like, shut the fuck up and play the video. I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, yo, here's some context to how things happen in the first place that Nick should be aware of so that he can't just blame immigrants for everything, or blame Trump for not deporting so many people. The actual economic policy of these things actually can kind of lead to these things happening. I think it's very predictable. And guess what? The Clinton administration predicted what would happen with their policy. So you can't just throw that into the fucking garbage, right? You can't do that. But all right, let's continue. Once again, like, we understand that Nick's not going to go there, and Alex is full of shit. But here we go.
So that's sort of where I'm at.
Powerful 10 minutes, Nick. And I agree with everything you said.
Powerful.
So I'm in full horror. They will indict me for sure if they get back in. I want Trump to be successful. And then I watched him 24 days ago literally come out and say through that memo, don't investigate. He killed himself. It wasn't human trafficking, though his
the minute's missing. Nick, you have that on your hand, right?
And then they said, I got attacked by all the MAGA influencers saying you're a traitor. And then Trump, 2 days later, yeah, I'm behind it, shut it down. So I'm in full horror mode. Let me ask you this question. So I'm not going to spend 10 minutes countering back here. I really want to hear what you have to say. How could Trump, even he was raping kids, which you said there's some evidence of that. It's obviously the CIA and Mossad's made a deal. That's what I've been told by the White House. They're like, hey, we got to make a deal with national security. I'm just telling you, folks, that's what it is. At least they told me that makes sense.
Tim Dillon.
Why then would they bring attention to it and behave like this? Well, he's 79. He is been in 9 years basically as the president. I couldn't handle this at 51. And the truth is that Trump doesn't give up. He doesn't break down, but he cracks up. And from my sources, and I don't say this meanly, folks, I just can't.
Trump just keeps going and going.
He can't handle the pressure. And instead of having Democrat operatives in his White House,
Nick,
he now has Israelis.
Sorry, Nick, no. Do not let this happen. Please, Nick. Do not allow this to happen. Please. Trump is just, he's a weakling. He succumbed to pressure. Do not let Alex get away with this shit. He's not a victim. He's not a victim.
I don't get it, bro. Like, he's victimizing him even here. But like, so he's shutting down the investigation. That makes him a weakling.
Do not let Alex dance this shit, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And even you're admitting, Alex, there may be corroborating evidence for the claims made about it.
Yes, exactly. But if Trump's a weakling, right? If he's too scared at the moment, he may succumb to the pressure of the situation, right? Which is what he's kind of saying that, I think, to some degree.
That's what Michael Tracy was saying yesterday, basically.
Which makes him what? A fucking victim. Instead of like, are you like culpable with any of this shit? Like, actually?
Michael Tracy was saying that Trump's hubris is making the situation bigger than it actually is. Instead of like, maybe he is guilty of something. He's like, no, he used that to infer that he's just the conversation, the thing he revealed 2 days ago about Virginia Giuffre, making it seem like, it's a nothing burger that he blew up into something bigger than it actually was.
Yeah.
Which is I think is a total mischaracterization of the events.
Yeah. So Nick fans
and Alex Jones, there's no even questioning it. That's exactly what he's doing. He's openly, blatantly, embarrassingly doing.
Yeah. Nick fans, do not look past this. So, all right, here we go. But don't look past that. Here we go.
And look, I'm the guy that always said China's the main issue, the EU, the globalists, BlackRock, because Israel controlled our foreign policy in the Middle East, but they weren't, from all my research, the dominant group. So I would just say what I knew. But now, in this power vacuum, Israel is bragging in their newspapers that they're the superpower, they control Trump. Yeah. Well, how do they control Trump? And we know Epstein is Mossad, Maxwell's dad, all of them. And from the best intel I have, Trump shut this down for that. And now he's pissed because the Democrats turned around, even though Trump made a deal, and are bringing it up. Yeah. And that's what he's doing. And he's walked into a trap. So now he's trying to kind of extricate. So it's a nightmare. And so, listen, my listeners want me to go on. I don't do what my listeners want. I do what I think's best. But at this point, I don't even know what to do. because my enemies want to put me in prison, and we know they're child molesters and want the border open. And everything. We know they're bad.
What the fuck?
And then now Trump's this big thing, and all I can say is Trump rode in on the populist wave, and populists running everywhere. So we should not put all our eggs in this basket. But
Alex's enemies are all child molesters.
Okay. Do I want the Democrats to win the House? Trump needs to indict
Not letting
the
that slide.
Crossfire Hurricane. He needs to release the Epstein files. He needs to stop listening to the CIA, or he's doomed. I mean, I think that is clear to me that, like you said, you don't shoot at the king once and miss and then barely survive. He's gotten a second shot, and we've got to take them down. He's got to do that. And so I think it's existential. If Trump doesn't go to full war and actually do something, then by extension, he's giving it to the bad guys. And so I think really, at the end of the day,
He's fighting for us. He's just
because America will forgive him for whatever this is.
What is Alex's
if he
timeline
backs away
for
from it and indicts them for things they've done that are cut and dry. But if they don't, but then that's a whole other discussion, Nick. Let's talk about what Trump should do, but also what is the way out of this? Because
like, what's Alex's timeline for that? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Is it the last day in office? Like, what is the time span for? All right, go to war and stand your ground and fight them. All right, like, what does that mean? Once again, we are in in the midst of his 5th fucking year as president. Right? We're in the midst of it. So what is the timeline for that? Is it last day in office? Like, listen, okay, JD Vance, it's your turn. It's your turn. I passed it to you. I did all the work I could, but now it's your turn, JD Vance. Is that it? Like, come on, but Alex is a fucking joke. I want to hear Nick kind of go, Nick. Someone's spouting bullshit in your face right now. What do you think about that? Is it okay? Are you guys friends? If you're friends, would you treat friends like this? Would you be, oh, well, Alex, I understand you. I understand you do what you do, man. Okay? But anyways, right? Is it that? Or is it like, yo, what the fuck did you say to me? You're my friend? What are you saying to me? I'm sorry, Nick fans. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. I know you want Nick to be cool, right? Just like Nick wants Alex to be cool. I get it. But come on. At some point, when it's like, yo, once again, kids being blown up overseas, like, in masses, right? All right, you say, fuck that. How about Christians? Christians blown up in masses. Okay, fuck that. You can like parlay off of so many different fucking topics in regards to Trump that there is no room for sycophancy, right? That's what Alex is doing, right? There's no room for it. So thus, maybe Alex, you're part of the fucking problem at some point, Nick, right? Or is it Alex is a good guy? We played golf together. He's a good guy. Fuck. Like, yo, Nick fans, if he's there with that, look for a different hero. I'm sorry. Move on. But here we go.
I'm like pissed at Trump, and then I look over
Nick's
there
the
and I'm
best.
like,
Nick is the best.
Literal shark tank of piranhas ready to eat me in the country, and I'm actually deer in the headlights at this point because I'm just like.
You don't say that on air.
I mean, this is a nightmare scenario.
Alex does not say this on air.
I agree. I mean, we feel stuck. I don't feel stuck because a year ago I was saying that we would sort of end up in a similar predicament. And
no, man, let me stop you again. I'll give you 10 minutes. I said that before you came on. I said, listen, I have guests on that are consistently right. You can disagree with overall your views or whatever, but you've been dead on. So my North Star is who's the most accurate. That's why I have on.
That's not.
So
That's not where Alex is, by the way. Alex makes excuses for everything that Trump does. I guess Nick doesn't watch his show, but he said he did, right? So thus maybe he's lying there. I don't know. Maybe he's just being like friendly or something. Okay, Nick. Okay. I guess it's cool to be friendly, but like my eyes and my ears are telling me like Alex Jones is full of shit. Full of fucking shit. And you have umpteen fucking topics to pull him out on. Like, yo, Alex, explain this. Yo, Alex, explain that. One after the other. You have ample room to call Alex Jones out. Be like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about with this topic or that topic? You really do. But maybe Nick is here to be nice and play house with Alex Jones. Good luck to you, man. I'm sure your fans will shit on me for saying that. I understand that. I get it. Right? They're caught in the craze. But in reality, right? You should be looking at yourself, Nick, and be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, damn, am I that guy that calls out anything that I think is wrong or corruption? Am I that actually, like, am I actually that? Am I really? Jury's out. For me, I'm saying, nah, you're not that guy. You're a content creator, and you will have a nice corner of the internet. Congratulations. But in reality, you have no real fucking impact. Honestly. But anyways, here we go.
Did predict all
Enjoy
this,
it, guys.
which makes me physically ill.
Dive in. Stop pausing, Nick.
So
He's about to talk.
Look at the crystal ball, Nick Fuentes. What is going to happen, and then what do we do?
Dummies.
It's hard to say what is going to happen next because, you know, I was going to say we are in a way stuck. We are stuck with Trump for the next 4 years. Sure. And when I say stuck, I mean, whether you think it's good or bad, he's the president and he's in this incontestable position. That was sort of the aspect of it that was very concerning to me, which is that if you have Kamala Harris, she has no legitimacy. So a lot of people like to think, well, if Kamala won, what would that have looked like? Obviously, it would not have been as good. The economy wouldn't be as good. The border wouldn't have been as good, and that's obvious.
But you're complaining about the border.
What was less concerning to me about Kamala against all of that is that she was a lot less stable. And not by that, I don't mean mentally. I mean that she had no legitimacy as a ruler because she didn't win the Democrat primary fair and square and never did. Nobody would believe she won the general election. If she won, no one would accept that was a fair and square deal. And so the regime would have been a lot less stable and would have had a lot less leeway. What I fear with Trump is that he has this cult-like status within the GOP. And when you look at the approval ratings over the past month, he has been declining with independents. He's hit a low with Democrats, as always. But his approval with Republicans has been remarkably stable. It's been stabilized at just under 90% approval, even in spite of everything. In spite of bombing Iran, in spite of floating the amnesty deal, in spite of the Epstein files. And so you say to yourself, where do we go from here? What do we do next? We're in this sort of intractable position where there's nothing we can do because he's there and no one can challenge him.
This guy's their hero.
He steamrolled Congress to get the BBB. He steamrolled many of the people throughout this whole process. And so you say, if Trump is failing us, if he's failing as a guy, and I agree with you, there's some sympathy with it. You don't say it to be mean. You don't say it even necessarily to be critical, but just descriptively. This is an old man. He has been fighting for a long time.
Alex is having his influence on him.
You can see that he can't handle it. You can see that it is a crack up, that he cannot handle these questions. And you watch these press conferences, these interviews, it's extraordinary the way he keeps digging, the way he gets asked
Look at Alex's face.
He puts his foot in his mouth with this sort of, oh, well, we need to just stop thinking about that, and it's a Democrat hoax. And you say,
some of the things Alex is saying is sticking on us.
So much so that people are saying maybe it's calculated because it is not possible to mess it up this bad.
You sure?
He's failing. He's cracking up.
Oh,
At
I love the futards saying, oh, he's going to make Democrats.
I don't think so, Jesse.
I'll tell you which part.
I think, I think he's reading the room. And he's like, okay, Alex is fans, so thus I will adopt this. And then use it's like sympathy, right? Okay, I will buy into some of your ideas to feed it back in my own version of it to the audience, right? That's what I'm getting. It's not an actual buying into Alex Jones's fucking ideas because Nick by himself is probably like, fuck Trump, he's full of shit, fuck this guy, he's dumb as shit, or he's full of shit, or he's probably on the Epstein list, right? I'm sure Nick does shit like that, right? Most likely. But when he's in front of Alex, he caters his rhetoric, right? He kind of serves it up, if you will.
But they mean when I hear them, they mean very different things. But he is using a lot of his language. So like I don't know if I'm the only one when I was hearing Alex Jones there, and he does it every episode, very often. He's like, he'll praise Trump a lot, and then he'll say some things that he's not happy with, and then he ends up at a place where,
not really,
like, where do we go from here? What do we do? Right? Like, I think that's the last thing he just said.
Yeah.
What do we do now? Who's we, and what are we supposed to do? Like, if you're
That's
Trump,
for others, but yeah.
Yeah, you could think of it as a party, you could think of it as Trump, or I'm hearing like really for Alex Jones, he's looking at like how the hell do I make Trump look good on this? Like how do I deal with these conflicting things? Because Nick doesn't have that same problem, right? He's not like trying to make like he's looking at certain policies he wants. Trump said he was for those things, and now he's not delivering, right? Like, so Nick's not like just riding him. He's like he wants Trump to do those things, and if he doesn't, then he's upset with that. So he doesn't have that same dilemma. He's not thinking about like how do I spin this for Trump, right? Like they're saying some similar words, but they mean very different things.
Yeah, but Nick is like, how do I spin this for Alex? That's what I'm getting.
Yes, that's why he's
doing
using
that for Alex, and Alex is doing
he's
that for
adopting
Trump.
his language. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to fit on Infowars and look like I'm like, listen, guys, I am reasonable, meaning like in their world, I guess that means like rational if you can like kind of compromise and agree on something, I guess to some degree. That's what Nick is doing, but he should actually just scorch him because I mean Alex is actually full of shit. That's why he should do that, in my humble opinion. But I get it. Maybe the idea is like, okay, they're not ready for my version of things, so thus let me like compromise and sound okay to an Alex crowd.
Well, it's a matter of do you believe in the ideas, which I think Nick does believe in his ideas, but like or is more important to like be political and maneuver so that
I give him time
maybe longer term strategy to get audience or whatever, like to spread his ideas. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, yeah, give him a little timetable on that one, right? He can believe his ideas, I'm sure, but once you realize, like, okay, I have to like actually maybe drop these ideas for the sake of winning something, audience members or expanding or something like that, right? And then, someday, trust the plan, one day I will unleash my ideas, like fully, without compromise. He's not there. Thus, he knows he's playing the political game of, probably, in my humble opinion, right? Playing the political game to, I guess, win over Alex people for now, until the next step, I guess. But then again, don't trust me. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Nick fans. I get it. All right, here we go. We'll see you someday. Here we go.
Calculated, because it is not possible to mess it up this bad. He's failing. He's cracking up.
Oh,
At
yeah,
the same
I love
time,
the futards saying, oh, he's going to make Democrats release the file. He's in control of it, dumbasses.
Goddamn
exactly.
Q-tards.
He appointed the attorney general. It's under his purview. He could release it if he wants to. Pam Bondi could do it. Trump could tell her to do it. And so he's in this position. He's clearly not well. And you could speculate about his health or something like that. But just suffice to say, he's not handling this well. But he also is immovable. And what's more is, and we talked about this the last time, there's this exuberance. And that really scared me when he came into office. And by scared, I don't want to sound like a resistance liberal or something, but a year ago, I was concerned about this Trojan horse thing. He's going to take all the Republicans with him. Anything he'll do will have his imprimatur of credibility. 90% of Republicans will support it no matter what. But then he gets into office. Then he wins the election. And you see a Trump that is unchained, where he's like, we're going to take Canada. We're going to take Greenland. We're going to take Panama. We're going to go to war with Russia. We're going to go to war with China. And you're like, this is a guy that is not handling it well. He's incontestable. And he's totally exuberant, has this like God complex situation. And so we're kind of strapped in for the next 3 years. And you know, I would say 8 years ago, what I would have said, what is our course of action? I would have said, we have to fight for the personnel. We got to get a new chief of staff. We got to get Susie Wiles out. We got to get control of the White House, wrest control of it from the bad personnel, get the good advisors in. You know, but we did that already. And even now, I don't think it's possible. I think that this is just how it's been the entire time. And, you know, Trump, if he knows how to get in touch with you, he knows how to get in touch with all these people that are critical, he won't do it. You know, and by the way, the people that are at the FBI, it's Kash Patel, it's Dan Bongino, it's Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk was on the team. So you would say, who would he call to get him out of the mess? Who would be the dream team personnel that could steer the ship away from the rocks? Well, they're already kind of there. I mean, what could we have better? You know, if we're thinking about MAGA personnel that you could plug in that could solve the problem that represents the base, could you do much
that why
better
they have
than
Trump
Kash
there?
Patel and Dan Bongino? Could you do much better than Vivek? And
yes, you
and
can.
Not to say that these are the best people ever, but these are pretty MAGA
See,
people.
like
These are pretty
Biden, who
outside
these
people to
that
bring in.
He's calling MAGA names you say shit out loud versus like the actual idea of the thing, right? He's not actually saying, he's saying like names that on repeat were like, yeah, MAGA, like in like a catchphrase type of way versus like, what do people mean by that, right?
But he's like making it sound like he needs the teammates. The teammates will make it happen, or like. Well, I mean, he's in charge, right? He could place them.
Yeah, he's saying that,
like,
but those guys are full of shit. They're obviously full of shit. Like every name he named is full of shit. Tulsi to Bongino, Patel, they're full of shit, obviously. So once again, the idea of the MAGA thing, they abuse you like you were fucking Oliver Twist. Abused children, essentially. And yeah, that's what happened. Sorry, guys, but that's the case. But I guess what Nick is laying out, that there's no logic for why he's such a dumpster fire. There's no real, like, logic behind it. Which I agree with. There is no logic behind it other than, like, well, he was full of shit from the beginning. Like, straight up. That is the logic. This guy was full of shit from the very beginning, and you guys got played. Congratulations. Hopefully Nick says that, but here we go.
And
well,
so
I know this, Nick, and I want to, like, I just have to say this. I got a bunch of calls the last 3 weeks, and the calls go like this: what do you want?
What?
And I've never asked for anything. What I want is good policy. I always want to be the outsider, and I'm just like, what do I want? I want Make America Great Again. I want America First.
Make America Great Again.
There's a real understanding in this administration that we're in charge. This is the way it is. And the fact that I get these calls, like the top of the administration, and they're just cut and dry. What do you want? And I'm just like, And again, the horror of Hakeem Jeffries and Pocahontas is right there. And that's why I'm in this paradox where I'm like, whoa. And so
what the fuck am I?
I mean, I feel disaster.
The blue mat's
I'm
kicking
going to
in.
be honest with the viewers. I have nothing I can do but to tell the truth. I am just in a nightmare because the Democrats are pure satanic scum. We know they are. And you've got all this delusions of grandeur. People that know Trump well say it's beyond megalomania. He does not care. He does whatever he wants, which is good to not care about Democrats. He doesn't even respond to their attacks anymore because he literally doesn't care and thinks he's invincible. And now he's negotiating.
Alex is full of shit.
With Russia and China and North Korea and Iran.
Full of shit.
Just a week ago, had a meeting with Zelensky and said, maybe we'll give you heavy bombs to bomb Moscow. And now they may overthrow Zelensky. So you get this idea that it's like a swirling crazy town. And you have last week the CIA director at that meeting they had, that cabinet meeting, and Ratcliffe literally leans back and goes, starts kind of like demoning out in the meeting, going like, and I'm just like,
he's really tripping out on it.
And Nick has a serious look on his face.
Run to in the Southern Hemisphere for nuclear war.
He took too much.
Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? What the fucking fuck?
He was trying to take the edge off of the pre-debate, and he took too much glue.
He does this during like discussions with other people that like can push back. He just like kind of like leans into the idea of being critical of the Trump administration and all that stuff. But on his own, when Alex is by himself, this is not his content. I'm sorry. It is all about the Democrats are bad and Trump is trying to fight them, but you know, maybe he's fucking up here or there, like trying to fight those guys, but right? He's like doing shit like that. It's like full-blown protection of the guy. And then once he's in front of someone, he kind of like leans somewhat in a direction of being critical of Trump, so like kinda a little bit. The fact that he just rolled his eyes back in the back of his fucking skull, and he was like, yeah, okay, like nodding his head throughout all, like that's, fuck, dude. Are you guys kidding me? These are your fucking people? I'm sorry, Nick fans and Alex fans, or whatever, MAGA people. These are your guys? Are you fucking kidding me? This is who you fell for? Are you kidding me? Imagine you had the stage to ask Alex Jones questions. Fuck debates. Fuck that shit. Just ask him questions. Is Nick doing a good enough job for you? Of course he's not. Let me cut you off. Of course he's not. Come on, dude. Come on. These are your fucking guys, dude. These are your fucking people for this stuff? When the gates of hell opens, like these are the guys to stand in front of the fucking gate for you? Are you fucking kidding me? They're nowhere fucking near it. Alex is the fucking coward, and Nick is he's 87 fucking pounds. Sorry, that's nothing to do with that. Obviously, it's about character, not about, like, you know, body structure. You could be small and be mighty, you know? But anyways, like, Nick, like, I'm sorry. Nick can't stand in front of Alex Jones. What the fuck is he going to do with the fucking devil? Are you kidding me? These are your fucking guys? Come on, dude. Fuck. You fell for this shit, dude. Fuck. And they're going to get mad at me for crying about this. I'm not actually crying, but you're mad at me for complaining about this. Fuck off. This is what you fell for. This mediocre dribble. You kidding me? Fuck. Enjoy it, though. Enjoy it. Have fun. But then in 10 years, regret it, by the way. In 10 years, mark my fucking words. In 10 years, like, well, maybe maybe these guys weren't that interesting or cool or whatever the fuck they were thinking of. In 10 years, max. Fuck. Here we go. Fucking dummies.
And Ratcliffe literally leans back and goes, starts kind of like demoning out in the meeting, going like,
look at Nick. He's like, yeah, all right.
And I'm just like, I'm like, literally looking at places to run to in the Southern Hemisphere for nuclear war.
Congratulations.
And I'm not the kind of guy that runs. My instincts are run. And the Democrats want to defeat Trump, and the Democrats want to rape their kids, and I know they're bad. And then you got all this crazy Trump delusion, and
all right,
I smell death.
All right.
And so Europe and Chicago, I'm in Austin, big cities.
Your instincts are
this is real world stuff.
Good,
so,
Alex. Your instincts.
At this point, I just want listeners of yours to know let me ask you this, Nick. Comment to just the Armageddon flavor of this, but then larger issue.
What was that article? What
Is
was
there
that?
any way to extricate Trump? Is there any path, in your view, out of this, or what?
What the fuck was that? See, look, Trump wants to get rid of Zelensky, so thus he's ending war. That was the idea there, by the way, guys. That was the point of that. Which is what? Unsolicited dick riding. Fuck. Congratulations.
What do we do?
If you fell for this,
because
good job, guys.
Obviously, the behavior of the last 3 weeks
Good for you.
Epstein
You fell for it.
is not
Dummies.
trillion D chess. It is
It's like a
flailing
analysis
anger,
now.
or it's
I'm done
covering
with
something
analysis.
up. I mean, this is just
Bullshit.
you can't lie about what this is, which I've been saying. I don't know what it is.
I think it's over. I think it's over for him. And look, he's going to be the president for the next few years, and he will deliver some tangible benefits. It's not all bad.
Like?
From a policy point of view, he has closed the border, and
Oh, he
maybe
did?
there can be some effort that's being made on debanking and free speech. I would say that is one of the great net positives, even though he didn't even really deliver that. I would argue that was more Elon Musk. Actually, with Trump, it's the reverse. They're going to bring back TikTok, but now there's going to be censorship. And I don't know if you saw, but they just negotiated this deal where they're going to have a footnotes
Look at these
feature on
W's he's
TikTok
talking
where it's
about.
like a fact check. It's like the fake news thing that Facebook did. So, you know, there may be some more leeway in terms of free
So his
speech.
good points
I've heard
actually
there
are going to
will
be
some
worse.
better regulations for debanking. That might go away. This
when?
reputational harm might be eliminated as a consideration from the Federal Reserve for banks. There will be
Unless
good trade
it's
deals. I think
against
some of the trade
Israel.
deals, like with the European Union, like with these Asian countries,
I'm
there
hearing
will be
that's
some
not so
tangible
not so good.
benefits. With that being said, Trump is still a lame duck. He is a lame duck president, and
True.
many of the aspects of this presidency
3.5
they're just not
years?
living up to what needs to happen. And there's no future for him politically. I don't even think if he was eligible to run, we would want to vote for him yet another time in 2028. So like I said last year, I think what the MAGA base has to do is sort of recognize we still need to use what we can get out of this. You know, maybe we could have people work in the White House. There's many groypers that are in this administration that are building their resumes. That's a good thing. People should still be doing that. And there are people like you and I that are benefiting from the free speech renaissance on Rumble, on X. We will benefit from that and from the debanking regulations.
Thank God that Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones can flourish to say nothing. To say nothing. But Jordan, he's being critical of Trump. Nowhere near enough. Nowhere near it. Nowhere fucking close to it. Even by his fucking standards. He knows he's losing. He knows that. He fucking knows that. But guess what? He's on InfoWars, so thus, let's add some positives because Alex Jones is rolling his eyes in the back of his fucking skull. Get it yet? No? Okay. Here we go.
But
I'll see you in 10
separately,
years,
at the
bud.
same time, we have to start to
Dummies.
imagine, to your point, that question, what do you want? What do we want after Trump? Because when he leaves office and most likely pardons himself, you and I will still be here picking up the pieces. And even to the extent that we
Maxwell.
criticize Trump or have criticized Trump, it will make no
It's
difference
already-
when the left persecutes us. So even though I didn't vote for him, even though you've been fair and objective and critical, it will make no difference when the Democrats come in and clap back on all of us on the entire right
Nick's trying to win.
and we will not get a
Also
presidential
pause, yes.
pardon. So we'll be sweeping up after him one way or the other. We have to start to think, what is our lives? What is our political movement? What is MAGA, the populist America First movement? What will it be when Trump sunsets? And I think he's already in a meaningful way sunsetted. There's just nothing new there. It's not dynamic. It's not progressive. It's not forward thinking. It's just sort of static and waiting to be resolved, waiting for him to exit stage left. We have to start to think in 2028, what is the next phase? What is the next booster rocket after Trump decouples? What will that be?
He just got elected again.
What is the next phase? Because Trump did not defend free speech when I got taken off and you got taken off everything. Elon, because I only give credit where it's due, he is the champion of that. They ran him off because Susan Wells didn't like him. But
Elon is
we're
the
all
champion
living
of
under that umbrella. Trump wouldn't have gotten in without Elon, in my view. What is your view on that? And so what is the Elon wild card there?
No, he was already in.
Well,
like,
what is interesting about Elon is introducing this America Party. I'm actually interested to see where that goes. And what the outcome of that is will tell us a lot about the dynamics in 2028, because clearly both parties are breaking up. I actually think maybe Trump is having this spectacular crash out, or some would argue it's maybe dying with a whimper. I think that it's a good thing because you see that both the right and the left, 10 years after Trumpism, are disintegrating. The left does not know where to go. And there is this big battle going on right now in the left between the radical progressives and the liberal establishmentarians.
Yeah, let's be clear. The left has the lowest approval rating in their history. No fundraising. They're flatlined. And then Trump commits political suicide saying, don't look at Epstein. I mean, it's insane.
The left.
But I don't think that's a bad thing, because the left has been disintegrated by Trump. Trump has utterly defeated them. It's sort of like the Soviet Union, like Trump matching them and just being tough and outlasting them. They have sort of killed themselves with wokeism, with the purity spiral, with the inherent contradictions. They are disintegrated. They are just not an effective operation right now. You see this with like Cory Booker giving this ridiculous speech. Like that's
Trump killed them after they killed themselves.
Seems to be the only one with the doctrine. He's 90 years old. Zohran Mamdani wants to do socialism. It's not working. But now the right is also disintegrating due to the contradictions of Trumpism. So it's like Trump has killed the left. He's also now killing the right, such that on the left, you have this progressive liberal split. On the right, you have a split now with the Silicon Valley people hopping off, the anti-war people hopping off, the Q conspiracy people hopping off. Like the whole thing's coming apart. And now that Elon is talking about a third party, an America Party that's based on center-right, common sense policy, it's going to be free speech, H-1Bs, this sort of thing. It's
Elon
creating an opening. The first act,
public narratives,
according to the Kabbalists, in creation, they say, is to create an opening. I'm not a Kabbalist, by the way, but this is what they say.
Video gameplay.
They say the first act is to create an opening, a container. And I was such a believer that Trump needed to lose for that to happen. Maybe he needed to win for that to happen. But now that Trump is sort of crashing and burning, new options are coming forward. Powerful people like Elon and Tucker are articulating alternative pathways forward. There is now, just like for the first time, a wide open playing field. In 2016, it was like Clinton and Bush. Those were your options. Trump scattered the ashes of the Bush dynasty, defeated the Clintons, defeated the Obamas, defeated the Bidens. Now it's just like a wide open playing field after all this. And this is where we can really begin to create.
Look at this fucking loser. Look at him, bro.
The spell of Israel.
You can't tell who the fuck that is. I'm wrecked by that.
Shut up. That's over.
Tell.
And all the other spells are
Elon Musk. Like, you can't tell. You look at him. You can't tell?
Is there any way for Trump to resurrect himself and pull out of this?
Being magical. My bad.
I don't think so.
I forgot my rationality.
I think that even if he did, look, people will eventually move on. You know how it goes. You've been doing this for longer than I have, as long as I've been alive. And you know how it goes, especially now more than ever. A story is in the news for a week, and then people forget. Now, this is going to leave a mark. This is going to have lasting damage. But just like everything else, in a few months, people will forget. And that's optimistic.
But
I mean,
it
maybe they'll
shows the
just
fundamental miscalculations. I don't want to mean to Trump, but his advisors, people very close to him, have told me in the last year, they go, it's beyond megalomania. He literally thinks he's invincible, and he's delusional now. And I'm being honest with viewers right now. And they're very concerned, and now you see it. The fact that he thought they could put a memo out, which he wrote, which he had written, which I told people day one. They said, oh, you're a traitor. No, it's Pam Bondi. No, it was him. He admitted it later. To say he killed himself. He acted alone. There was no human trafficking. There are no files. It is suicidal politically, but it came out of his grandiose, extreme arrogance. And I get under pressure. This is what he turned into.
Here's Alex trying to win over.
How could you deal with this pressure and not stop?
Yeah.
So,
you know what he's doing.
You know, Nick, it's very paradoxical. And then every time I sit there and look at this horror,
once they go separate ways, you'll hear two different stories completely.
And Pocahontas and AOC.
Actually,
which is what
he's using this.
I just go, okay.
He doesn't watch Nick.
Trump loose. My listeners want me to.
So he brought him on.
Feels good.
So he get his ideas.
What is this?
And he does it in a keto on it. He'll be like, okay, people are saying this. and he twists it around where it'll sound okay. Like right now, he's connecting with Nick. He wants to hear him talk because he's not gonna watch the show. So he's getting the information, and yeah, tomorrow, like I said, he's gonna change the story up, but he's gonna touch these points and tell you why it's okay.
Apparently. There we go.
And that's where I like hit a brick wall. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that's the worst case scenario, to tell you the truth. I know that people don't want to see Trump go down because they worry about the left and things like that. But I think the worst case scenario is that Trump, at the end of the day, was never a
You
radical.
think Trump putting us to sleep is the problem?
Exactly. I think complacency.
Damn,
I think
was
Trump
Obama's
rolling
thing.
us back into the system. I mean, one thing that people never mention is with Trump winning in 24, nobody's talking about the rigged elections anymore. You notice that? Like Trump won in 24, and now people say, and there's polling on this, they say, we believe the elections are free and fair and it's all legit. Now, with these new advertisements, the American Eagle, the Dunkin' Donuts, people say, oh, the advertisements are great again. People are being rolled right back into the system.
God dang it, that's a good point from Nick. Although he should have started a while ago, right? Where it took like, oh my God, drain the swamp and the Clinton going to jail and WikiLeaks led to Clinton's not in jail. Assange going to jail and cover-ups of whatever proportions, and more wars in the Middle East. Like it was all live from the very beginning, and it was very evident within, I kid you not, months of the first administration of Trump. But then again, people are dumb, get abused. Here it is.
Supporting more Middle East wars, supporting more skilled
immigration. They push, and when it fails, they flip right back to put us to sleep.
That's right. Cut them off.
Exactly.
We're in 1985. Everything's fine.
They play both sides. When the left is losing cachet, they flip to the right, and people say, we won. The revolution succeeded. So I think, I mean, you said it succinctly, Trump lulling us to sleep, the complacency, to me, that was always the real threat. With Trump disintegrating, it's actually presenting a real opportunity.
Sydney Sweeney from White Lotus, right? Like, I don't think people know where she acting wise comes from. Whatever, who cares, right? She has nice titties, and what are you mad that a white chick is hot? Like, no, she's really hot. She's super hot. Cassie from Euphoria is fucking hot as shit. But the show leans lefty politically. And White Lotus leans lefty politically. I'm just saying, I'm sorry. The same Hollywood people that you guys were scared of, this girl has participated in. So, you look kind of stupid if you think a Jean commercial where she gets paid whatever amount of money to do it. Whatever, who cares? Sorry, who cares? They don't care. I don't care either. I mean, I do care, but...
Especially in the way that he's disintegrating.
So, wait, are you an accelerationist, or what are you saying?
Really hot.
I don't know that I'm an accelerationist. I'm not rooting for the country to break apart.
She's been doing
but I do believe that Trump occupying this seat is holding back something more right-wing. I think that Trump I'm maybe a political accelerationist. And what I mean by that is I don't want the worst case scenario to happen for America to collapse so that then I'm not an accelerationist in that way. But in terms of the GOP.
You want to wake people up, though. You want to have the wake-up call.
Yeah, I think the controlled opposition needs to be defeated. We need to accelerate the political controlled opposition.
So let's look at it this way. Why do they want you off the air? Let's just say it.
Nick, are you talking to a controlled opposition right now?
Let's see it. What are they scared about you? We're not trying to bring ourselves into this, folks. We're not Hunter S. Thompson, but it's true. Why do they want you off the air?
The pinnacle of journalism, Hunter S. Thompson. Sure.
That the power structure fits.
Sure, bud.
Well, what they don't like about you is that you are an independent media outlet. You have too big of a studio, too big of an operation, too big of an audience. They want to control that. I think with me, I never had an operation as big as yours, We get into it at different times and different circumstances and things like that. I think what they fear about me, and I've seen it even on TikTok the other day, there was like this liberal kid and he goes, the left is not talking about the rise of Nick Fuentes and that's a problem. The left is starting to like Nick Fuentes because he criticizes Trump. And I hate saying my own name. I think it sounds like narcissistic, but what they fear about me is that what I am proposing is a novel and truly reactionary alternative to what we get even from the GOP. You know, in 16, they used to say, and maybe you remember this, but in 15 and 16, they would say they hated Ted Cruz more than Trump because they said Ted Cruz was a true believer. He's a true radical, Now, I don't think that's true, but there is this premise that they never feared Trump as much because they recognized that Trump was a deal maker, would make concessions. They recognized that Trump was not an ideologue. He really was a demagogue the whole time by definition. Whereas me, my movement, being very young, being very fanatical, and being very radical, we do represent a threat in the sense that when all of these fake ideologies disintegrate, what is going to be the strongest ship? What is going to be the Noah's Ark?
Well, that's it. No, that's why the NSA and documents and leaks, they fear anybody they don't control if you get a group together.
Morality will be the winner, Nick.
Period. So let me ask you
Better
this.
choose wisely.
What is your
I see your
prediction?
baby
I know
fat
it's all dead
kind
reckoning
of
for
growing
Trump.
In.
What is the best scenario?
I can see it.
What would you do to try to...
Morality's here. Sorry.
Because he's here for 3.5 years. What is the best path out of this? What do you think the Democrats are going to try?
Democrats are going to try. Yeah, Trump should say, hey, listen, here's all the bad shit we've ever done. Not him. Not him. But, like, here's what America has done that I got my hands on of bad shit we've done. Also, here's my wrist here to arrest me for crimes against humanity. Thank you very much. That is the thing that should happen from an honorable person, someone with integrity and character, but that is not happening. Let's be honest. It's just cowards on top of cowards. And Alex Jones himself is a fucking coward, covering for other cowards. That is where you're at. Open your fucking eyes. Sorry, people. That's where you're at. Cowards dealing with cowards. Anyways, here we go.
Trump's trying to stop these wars. That's a good thing overall. He's doing a lot of great stuff.
Stop these wars. What wars did he stop?
You know, the cliche, baby out with the bathwater. But it's great to go, okay.
He's lying, Nick.
Got problems.
Yo, Nick, he's lying. Stop him.
I want to ask you, why
stopping wars? He didn't actually do that.
I've never seen any real evidence there. I've been all over this.
Oh,
so
back
that's a whole
to
other
Epstein.
discussion. It's just he must have
Back to
made
Epstein.
Yeah, I think there's maybe two very likely possibilities.
Nick's too stupid for that, right?
And of course, there's many
He's
others,
dumb for
but to
that.
me, these are the standouts. One,
Nick had a thing there, and I think he's too stupid to cover it. Where Alex is like, he's trying to end these wars and stuff. Anyways, Epstein, right? Nick should be like, no, wait. Let's go over his actual foreign policy record. Hopefully, Nick is about to do that right now with his bubbly eyes right there.
Yes,
But-
crazy thought.
But Jordan, he said he didn't care about war crimes. How could he bring that up now?
I mean, he's been leaning into it at least a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So we'll
Let's see.
But I see his late onset baby fat in his face. You see that? What Nick Fuentes? It's like late onset baby fat on his face. He's finally gonna hit 100 pounds. All right, here we go.
Somebody deal with Israel.
yeah, I think there's maybe two very likely possibilities. And of course, there's many others. but to me, these are the standouts.
Okay.
One is that he wanted to avoid embarrassment. I think that he knew his name was in there. And his name was in the files in 2019. We just know this. There's videos and photos, and he was friends with Epstein for many years. And so he knew if there was a big disclosure, he'd be named all over it. Maybe we'd learn something, maybe we'd learn nothing, but it would be a big shitstorm for him politically.
He never looked at the files
One
for 4
possibility
years.
is it was just a big misstep. He did it to avoid embarrassment. I think that's possible.
Oops.
The other distinct possibility, which I think is very likely, is like you said, there was a deal with Israel that his allies would be hurt by this. Maybe people like Peter Thiel, people like Netanyahu. Maybe there's unknown people yet undisclosed in the files. It would be destabilizing for the political order. And for the same reason he didn't lock up Hillary Clinton, he's going to do this. It's sort of a handshake with the shadow government, with the deep state, with this international cabal, whether it's Israel or the CIA, really a difference without a distinction. There was a handshake to just avoid pandemonium, to avoid a kind of Me Too level extinction of
It's
for
making an
certain class
excuse.
of the elites. It's the same reason it's telling. Nancy Pelosi came out and said, we should not release the files. Now, why would Nancy Pelosi and Trump agree on something like this? It's probably because it's for the sake of political order, or because they both have something to hide.
Political
and they
order.
have the scandal. So I think that those are the distinct possibilities. Maybe it's a combination of the two.
No, I agree with you. So
think
now they're going to have hearings. Even Johnson's going to use it against Trump because he's a weasel. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it, but he's doing it for weasel purposes. What is your prediction on this? Because my prediction, as I said 24 days ago, is this has doom written all over it. They're going to go all the way to the wall with this. And if Trump doesn't release all the Epstein files and go after the deep state,
Also,
for Hurricane, I want your take on that too. And all this talk about treason charges and things, then he's doomed. Because when whoever convinced him or himself to sign on to the Epstein cover-up, he has now become everything he claimed he was. He did that. And my listeners get mad that I'm not like covering it up. I can't do that. And some then take it out of context when I work and I'm oh, you're covering it up. No, I'm covering every angle. I mean, this is the disaster. So,
why would he be doomed for that? Sorry.
So
he's the president of the United States. Like, when are these guys ever held to account? Right? Like, Obama did things. They were like, oh my God. Like the left is like, okay, he's going to be doomed for that, right? He's going to be fucked. He's going to lose elections for years and years and years. And then Biden won, right? And, okay, I guess it was rigged, obviously. So, but it's like, either way, right? No one actually gets fucked over these things. So, is some sort of reckoning that's going to happen if Trump betrays you, Alex Jones? Of course, Alex knows that's not the case because he knows. Let's be honest. He fucking knows. So, bullshit on that point on its own. But, and go ahead.
yeah, I completely agree. He knows. He's connecting with Nick, and he's going to turn this around. Because just a few minutes ago, we saw, like, why would you say he's doomed when, like, a few minutes ago, there was something on the screen about, like, he still has 90% of Republican support? Like,
GOP.
they were just saying, like, nothing's phasing him, right? Like, and that was, like, a recent number. So even with all this,
I think it was saying
with
the GOP, right, which is different than regular people, I think. But God,
Republicans, yeah. So not
maybe
I guess
politicians,
voters.
but not voters so much. Unless I got that wrong when I heard it. Whatever. Good God.
Yeah. Well, the argument there was that he's like maintaining strong support, right? Right now, Alex Jones just said he's doomed, but he's kind of just echoing what Nick was saying, right? Like he's just like vibing with him.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a non-discussion, essentially. It's just going nowhere because no one's willing to take a risk, I guess. I don't know. If I was friends with Alex, I would risk our friendship for the sake of saying what I think is true. But, whatever, who cares, right? There's no test here, right, guys? You can't hold me to that, so let's keep it moving. Here we go.
So, Nick, there's a lot of questions there.
Got it.
Why do you think he covered it up? What do you think is going to come out? How the Democrats think they can only limitedly expose him when they're heavily involved? Where do you see that going?
I agree. I think they're going to keep pushing
Kinda
it,
miss
you
the
know, because
90s,
this is the first scandal that's really hurt Trump. All
Just
the
being
other
honest.
stuff nobody really believed, the Russiagate, the Stormy Daniels, for the most part, that never left a mark because there was this assumption among the base that, look, the left is going to lie about Trump. They're going to try everything. They're throwing everything other than the kitchen sink and the rest of it. But this is something that it's just unavoidable. I mean, the Trump base, these people like Kash Patel, they played up the Epstein files for years. It's so brazen. So this is going to leave a mark. And now that the left has found something that is so effective, super effective, they're just going to hit this all day long. Now, fortunately for Trump, there's this summer recess for the Congress, so they can punt this. I don't know that that was even the best idea because when the Congress reconvenes, guess what they're going to do? They're once again going to force the issue. So we're going to pick up in September in the next legislative session on this. And it's going to happen simultaneous with the General Assembly of the United Nations,
what do we do
where
about
they're going
this?
to recognize Palestine.
Trump.
It's going to happen simultaneous with the deadline for another Iran nuclear deal. And this is going to happen as Congress comes back and they're going to force a vote on Thomas Massie and the Democrats' resolution to get all the files unsealed from the DOJ on Epstein. And this is where, you know, I started to say this earlier.
Don't give Alex ideas.
The conventional wisdom would say he's going to pull out of this. People will, they're going to stop paying attention to it. They'll find something else.
I don't smell that. I smell really bad.
Yeah, really. And that's what I was about to say. I think it gets worse and worse. I think, as you said, it's doom. It's a dreadful feeling that it's just going to be one shoe to drop after the next. It's like 50 shoes are going to drop after this. And we're going to hurdle into the midterms and it's going to be an issue. Then we're going to open up the Republican presidential primary and it's going to be an issue. And they're going to be hitting this from here until the next election.
America First Populist salvage something. Whether we abandon Trump or not, folks, this looks bad. What do we do to continue our America First policy and extricate ourselves from this?
America First.
I think we need to use this as an opportunity. I really believe
I think he
this is an historic opportunity in the way.
All right. But I think he cut off the point and didn't let an actual in a way expose on the scenario. He's like, oh, well, all right, America First. What do we do with that? What do we do now if you're America First? Right? It's kind of cuts off the topic in a way. If you're actually digging for answers as either an interviewer or even this is not a debate, let's be honest. It's not a debate. But either way, right, you would dig towards an answer for clarification of what you're saying. Right? So okay, give me details about what you're saying. Alex was like, all right, enough with that. What does America First mean to you? And it's like, what? The fuck? Not saying he said that. I'm just saying, as an example, it's just okay, so the thing I just said for whatever minutes long is now gone, and now we're somewhere else. Because, fuck you. That's why. Hey, audience, fuck you. We don't like you, go fuck yourselves. They don't realize that, but they should take it that way. I'm not even saying that's Alex's intention or Nick's intention, but you should take it as a fuck you. I'm sorry. Maybe they wanted House of the Dragon to be a really good show, but guess what it was? In actuality, a fuck you to the fans. Go fuck yourselves. They gave us middle fingers, essentially. So, but whatever, who cares? I'm some dumb guy on YouTube with not enough subscribers to be legitimate, I guess, and not a cultural icon. I'm not 105 pounds. I'm not on TRT. I'm not good enough. Let's continue. Here we go.
Get ourselves from this.
I think we need to use this as an opportunity. I really believe we need to. This is an historic opportunity. In the way that maybe even Trump wasn't, to go further than Trump.
Well, last time was.
Trump was able to go so far because people were so angry with what they were getting from both sides. That's why people tolerated Trump. That's why people were willing to go with Trump. Now that Trump has even disappointed them and he was supposed to be the revolution, I feel like this is momentum.
Okay.
Some people look at this as dreadful. I look at this as kind of like momentum. This is an explosion of energy that can propel maybe something even more anti-establishment into the fore. And people like liberals were pointing out, Trump is losing with the younger demographic. Trump's approval among the 18 to 25 is crashing out more than any other demo. The old people don't care, but the young people are furious about this. And the left said, oh, this is great.
Rebel, and this is the main issue. And he thought he had the political cachet to say, shut up. And a person with a 70 IQ would have known that was a disastrous move, which goes to the mental acuity of him and his advisors.
He's bringing up IQ.
But in particular with the young
his advisors, or what about himself?
He thought he could do it, but he didn't. The young people are leaving, and the left is telling us, oh, great, Trump is losing the youth. This is a great day for the left. But Trump is losing the youth, not because the youth are going to the left. He's losing the youth because they're more right-wing than Trump. Trump has created a generation of Nick Fuenteses and Groypers.
And that's my next question. I saw you talk about this, and I like Charlie Kirk. I'm not his enemy, and I think he's been brought along. But they're literally having struggle sessions.
We're about to watch them on South Park.
From their events. I've been there when you get taken out by police. The fact
you just cut them off. Yeah, I heard you say this before.
The building only made you bigger. Do a little short thing on that.
Well, let's be honest, right? Both of them now are saying about Trump's, I guess, IQ or intelligence in regards to this. Hey guys, what if he was fucking you on purpose? Is it possible that he purposely tricked both of you idiots? Yes, it is. Yes, it very much is. Very possible. But then again, I will shut up again because I'm not smart enough. Here we go. Low IQ, black guy. Here we go.
Sure. Well, last week they did this Turning Point struggle session on Israel. And what I said on my show is that for many years, back in 2019, I came at Turning Point USA as a critic from the right. Turning Point was considered the rightmost youth organization in the country. And they were the gladiators against the left. They were the most pro-Trump, the most right-wing. Then here comes the Groypers that are saying you're not right-wing enough on the social issues, on immigration, on identity, and in particular on Israel. And their first response back in 19 was to ban me from their events. They kicked the Groypers. They fired the Groypers that were sympathetic in their organization, and they tried to ignore us. They tried to purge us. They tried to pretend we didn't exist. Fast forward 6 years later, and their whole organization is filled with Groypers. Their events are filled with Groypers. The youth is about as right-wing as me. Maybe they're even more right-wing than me, even.
And again,
by Nick's definition, but well, honestly, I covered the Groyper guys when they first popped off, when they were antagonizing Steven Crowder events, like live events. Like before COVID, right? But they were like there, like in suits and holding a cross and asking about Israel, I guess, to Crowder's audience or to Crowder himself, I guess. So, but you can look at it. It's like this is not sustainable, and I think Nick knows that. I think Nick knows this is not some sort of sustainable like. If it is, then it's like we're an idiocracy. It's like Mando. What's it called? What's the fake Powerade or Gatorade? It's called
Prime.
No. Well, no, not Prime. But yes, Prime, but not Prime. From Idiocracy. Was it called like Mando or something like that? Right?
Oh, I forget.
The fake. It has electrolytes. It's so good for you.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Like, why are you guys giving this to plants? It has electrolytes, right? That's the world where this survives. It survives a Fortnite reality. Sorry, Nick. I'm sorry, dude. It is what it is, man. If you're somewhat smarter than that, good luck. You were going to be surrounded by dumb fucks that don't care about any type of reasoning or anything. You're going to get fucked, Nick. Sorry. Anyways, here we go.
And so Charlie Kirk, they had literally an event with their people about this now.
That's right. And last week, they had to hold this struggle session where they are very aware of this problem, that at their events, they have people crying out for something that is truly America first, that is authentic.
I'm sorry. That is the gayest man on planet Earth. I'm sorry. Yeah, this man is gay as fuck. I'm sorry. But here we go. Anyways.
Authentic, that's going to call out Israel. And so they host this session where they're basically trying to mediate. And they're sort of putting themselves in this position like they have power over the conversation. The youth are already super far right. They come in and say, we're going to mediate this transition to the far right.
I've never heard
as
that
if they control that at all, as if they have any say. And so they bring in all their chapter leaders. They bring in some of the members of their organization, and they have this, what is supposed to be a focus group where they have an honest conversation about Israel. And
Nick has bigger priorities.
You know, Charlie Kirk says, when you say Israel, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And one by one, the chapter leaders of Turning Point USA, the biggest right-wing campus group, they say the first word that comes to mind, Mossad, genocide, AIPAC, foreign lobbying, foreign wars.
Bro, those are the right-wing people?
Big talk, little talk.
Things that, you know, almost nobody was talking about 6-7 years ago, 6-7. And Charlie Kirk is there basically trying to mediate this and say, well, you know, you don't hate Israel.
On these topics.
You just have some moderate criticisms. Well, we still support Israel. We still love Israel. And we don't have any problems with Judaism, but you just have some narrow criticisms about Netanyahu.
Gallup poll even shows Israel's the most unpopular thing. Look, I'm glad Charlie Kirk's waking up. I don't want to be in with him. The crew's playing funny videos of him. The point is that you got exercise, you got sent into oblivion, you got sent to the phantom zone,
Crew's playing funny videos, not me.
Exile, and there's no doubt that your ideas and what you're saying are dominant within their own organization, and this is just emblematic of everything right now.
This conversation is such a nothing burger. It's like
where do you see this ending?
Of how nothing it is.
Well, I don't know the future because it's like you talked about earlier.
Stop talking.
You just don't know. You don't know what's going on with Trump.
Off.
You don't know what's going to happen next when Congress comes back. But if we play our cards right, the way that it should end is that we view Trump as a stepping stool. You know, I don't believe that Trump, he was never the ends in itself. The end was America first. And we thought Trump was the leader to get us there. Now, I don't think that Trump was all bad. I'm not a Trump hater. I think that he did a lot of good for the country, but he was never, in my opinion, he was always a first step. He was always going to hand the baton to somebody else. He was planting a seed. He was destroying institutions. He was kind of like a necessary first part of a long story.
Necessary evil?
If we play our cards right and are smart, what happens next is we decouple from Trump. And like he did, we imagine, what is the next step of this? What do we want? And we take the baton from Trump and from this administration, and we take it forward in 2028. We take it forward in 2032. And we look for a young avatar of this new movement that can run for office. Maybe.
Maybe we have someone who does like mandatory gym class standards. Thank God I'm out of high school now. Because I weigh 87 fucking pounds. I struggle with jugs of water. Sorry. I have to make fun of this little dweeby little looking dude, bro. This tiny guy, this tiny person. I have to make fun of them. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Nick fans. I know not everyone can be like me. I'm sorry. But I see a little dweeby guy who has Napoleon complex thing. Not that he's like, not Napoleon complex in the sense of like, just fuck. Like I just try to dominate everything. It's more so of, well, how do I survive as a little pipsqueak? How do I survive? Well, I'll start a YouTube channel or whatever the fuck you did, right? I'll do public speeches. He's like that, in my opinion. But anyways, all right, here we go. Sorry. Just making fun, guys. Don't cry about it. Here we go.
As a congressman,
don't cry to Jordan. I don't want to hear your cries.
I don't know anybody in particular. People say Thomas Massey. I don't think he'll be the guy. Dan Bilzerian has talked about running for office. Maybe it'll be somebody like him. Maybe it's somebody we haven't heard of yet. It could be some.
So they dismissed.
Oh my God!
Dismissed Thomas Massey and accept Dan Bilzerian as like maybe closer to the thing, and like, why is that? He knows about Israel.
He's alpha.
Like that little guy. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Someone
watch it happen, bro.
Someone punk his chemist and watch him shrink. Be hilarious. But on principle, I would think Thomas Massey would be their guy. But I think Nick's saying like, no, not likely, because let's be honest. Thomas Massey would hear Nick Fuentes talk and be like, yeah, I'm not like him. Nah, I'm not like him. Sorry. Even if Thomas Massey was the pinnacle of integrity and honor, Thomas Massey would look at Nick and his ideas and be like, yeah, that guy, nah, I'm nowhere near him. You can get the fuck away from me. Which is typical of the whole cultural thing of this, right? Of, oh man, these culture warriors, the anti-SJW people, right? Man, I love Tarantino films. Tarantino would tell you, like, run away from him. Like, get away from me. Fuck off, pussy. But that would, like, crush their dreams. Yeah. Maybe Dan Bilzerian, the guy dancing with, like, hot chicks he pays to hang around him and stuff like that. Like, yeah. I'm sure that could be your next leader. Maybe, right? He'll run his campaign on, like, pay-per-view circa 1991. Black box pay-per-view. Dan Bilzerian's campaign ads. Congratulations, guys. You won. Anyways, here we go.
Buddy, this is a big country. It could be somebody that nobody even knows their name yet.
But I think all he knows is the fuck word. I mean...
Oh, look at that.
He is a little, he's a little jocular, but I wouldn't underestimate him.
I'm not against him, but it's like, dude, you got a vocabulary? It's like, I don't know.
But yeah.
Alex just called him dumb. Like, yet, Dan Bilzerian? Yeah, he's kind of a dumb fuck. Alex just said that. Can you say anything beyond, like, Israel bad and fuck? Can you do better than that? Alex was like, yeah, he's kind of stupid. Right? He's kind of a dumb fuck. Alex just did that. Yeah, sure, Nick. Yo, Nick, if you fell for that, then I'm like, it's definitely based on your, once again, 93-pound frame. That's what it's based on. Not based on actual reality or, like, morality or honor or integrity or principles or morals. It's based on, like, I'm a little guy and he's kind of big. He could put me in his pocket. Anyways, here we go.
He's a little jocular, but I wouldn't underestimate him.
I'm not against him, but it's like, dude, you got a vocabulary?
Like, damn, man, you're kind of dumb.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Hopefully, if he runs for office, maybe clean it up a little bit. Certainly clean up the language.
What about you, Nick?
Clean it up.
I might run for office
Alex
at some
is grilling.
point.
He's canvassing.
I think at this point in time, I see myself more as like a vanguard. And I think I'm maybe more powerful, not in a campaign, because you get in a campaign and then they turn it into, well,
no, I got it. You're more like John the Baptist out there. So,
oh my God, Alex Jones is trying to cut ass on Nick Fuentes right now. Pause. He's trying to shit on him. That's hilarious. Because, well, let's be real. Nick Fuentes is, like, his style and mannerisms are borrowed from Trump, and his ideas are borrowed from the internet circa 2015, 2016, bro. I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry to break the news, but that's the case. He's half Trump, half unamazing. Congratulations. Here we go.
We got some more time left. I want to take a break. And
Alex
maybe
is
we
like,
can open the phones up for like 20 minutes or something.
I'm take you seriously.
Sure, but we called it a debate because it is a debate. And I saw the stuff you said, and I get it. You can take what I said out of context. I am horrified. I am just...
It's record section.
I've never saw evidence of Trump with any kids. They would have already used it. We know, and I was told, I got the calls. I already knew it. It's the CIA, it's the Mossad, it's national security. So then why did Trump act like that? And I am just
Wrecked.
I'm not going to sign on to that
you got
because
some
I've
phone
never
that
sold out to the
told them
Democrats. They offer
CIA, Mossad, National Security.
Well,
What kind of phone call?
yeah. Well, we knew this with Alex. It's more about Nick right now. Nick with his 30s baby fat face thing happening. I'm like, what do you do with this, Nick? I'm sorry. Like, what do you do with that, bro? Alex is now like trying to like rooster step over your shit as like I engage in smart shit and you engage in dumb shit. Like Dan fucking Bilzeri, whatever the fuck his name is. I wish Girls Gone Wild was like still a thing. Bilzerian. Yeah. That's where things get better at. No one believes that, so I'm watching Alex like grill you for that. Which is funny because Candace did the same fucking shit. Anyways, here we go.
bring all this money.
Smart people
I'm not gonna
talking.
sell
Sorry.
out now to a lie.
I'll let them
And you got
talk.
Susie Wiles wants to keep fluoride in the water and
Fluoride.
mRNA shots. And they're trying to block Kennedy. He fires their people. And but then I want to throw Trump out because I'm seeing a real struggle in his administration, which normally there's no struggle. It's just lockstep. So, to me, this is really paradoxical. And all I can do is just tell listeners what I'm seeing and say, this is what I'm seeing because something that's complex I don't have the answers to. But, we have to have a larger discussion about
The CIA give you the answers.
what are we going to do if Trump has a heart attack next week? I mean, what would the Democrat... Let me ask you this, Nick. What would have happened last year in Butler if Trump would have got his head blown off? What would have come out of that?
What the fuck?
Well, I think that Nikki Haley
Is-
would have
is that
taken
the CIA
a big shit,
conversation,
to tell you the
Devin?
truth, because Trump, at Butler,
Just
he had not
spitball
yet
here.
chosen a VP. The only other person in
What
the
if
primary
Trump
with
suddenly
50
died?
delegates was Nikki Haley. There would have been an open convention at the RNC. And of course, and the
Democrats.
reason I say this is because, look, there would have been pandemonium. There would have been, who even knows, maybe riots, maybe violence, maybe something like this. But without a doubt, there would be this unbelievable mandate.
They would have made a cunty, below mediocre politician look way better than he actually is if he died that day. Most likely. Right? Just being honest.
This is because, look, there would have been pandemonium. There
Which
would
was
have been,
force on,
who
by the
even
way.
knows, maybe riots, maybe violence,
Foreseen,
maybe something
force
like
on,
this.
whatever.
But without a doubt, there would be this unbelievable mandate that'd be like, get a Republican in and declare martial law. But the question is, who would that fall to? And I think it would have been like a Nikki Haley coup or like a Ron DeSantis coup. They would have been crowned and propelled by the martyrdom of Trump. They would have gotten into office and they would have, everything that they're running the playbook right now, they would have done it with a vengeance.
They'll boomerang it.
Yeah. Well, and, the right, in my opinion, is being empowered right now because of October 7th. I think that, when you look at all this anti-left-wing action, it is propelled, and maybe this is one-dimensional, but this is what I see. It is being propelled by the Jewish oligarchy in America that got woken up by October 7th. And that's why you got Bill Ackman saying Harvard is too woke and Sean McGuire is a Trump supporter. Like, they're driving this big right-wing tilt, and it's because they want to crush anti-Semitism and they want to crush Palestine. So,
And what's so
I think with Trump,
paradoxical is it's been the main Jewish lobby funding the Islamic
That's
invasion
guys,
because
B-roll
it's
guys.
anti-Western, and now they suddenly wake up to us. Let's go to break. Let's come back and talk about that. Israel, because clearly you can say Israel before was just trying to control our foreign policy. They, with the Democrats in shambles, they're trying a takeover right now. So play a few promos. Let's come back to Nick Fuentes and get his take on that. But this is the reality, folks. This is where we are right now in the year 2025 on July 30th. This is where we are, and it's sad to say. It's really scary. And we can talk about where the Epstein thing is going to go, or could Trump extricate himself from this? We'll talk about it straight ahead. Stay with us. I'm cutting this on July 30th, 2023, thealexshowstore.com. Right now, for VL specialty members, the new of the church, so good titles, the Alex Show tools enter, drive the show, the very air, Take action now. What
is in that?
This way. Yeah. Completely more for his or like, yo, Ryan, you can little this new is on back. I pro you and don't know you so my years ago swore and space there is no bad guy in this totally that Trump's 30 minutes. We're going to take a few calls right now. Call it a debate. I mean, it is a discussion. I would say more of a wake. And I don't want to agree with him totally that Trump's done. I think there's some chance to extricate this. But as I said 3+ weeks ago, before it even came out, this is Trump. And going against what he promised to do, the Epstein thing has created a wedge the Democrats are coming after. But then look at all the other issues and how he's so much better than them on others. And I want to keep the House. I want to keep the Senate. And the Democrats are destroying themselves right now. It's very paradoxical. So the toll-free number to make your comment or question to Nick Fuentes or myself here tonight is 877-789-2539, 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. We'll just take 5, 6, 7 calls, and then we'll let Nick get out of here. But, Nick, do you have any inkling in your political repertoire or vision of a path to Trump extricating himself? Because it's not just the Epstein thing. That's just emblematic. I agree with you. And I know the behind the scenes stuff of not that he's implicated it, just the arrogance of they'll shut up if I tell them to. And now he sees that's not the case. And then the different scenarios of where this goes. So what is your positive vision versus your negative vision?
I don't really have a big positive vision for him. And the reason for that is because I think he has no ability to renew. I think that, we both know in the first term, it was a lot of disappointments and a lot of unforced errors and failure. And we were looking for the second term to kind of restart. And, he's got a lay of the land. He's got personnel. He's got expertise. We thought he was going to make it better, but it's all the same mistakes. And so this is a very old guy. This kind of is the second chance, and he's blowing it. If he had the capability to reinvent himself at this point in time, which I don't think he does, you got to clean house. You got to get a new chief of staff. You got to get new personnel. And you would really need an intention to flip the script. And you would need to say the Epstein files are going out and use them to go after your enemies. It's like you said, and we're kind of in agreement on this.
I think we're
even if
right now.
all of this has happened, if he went after his opponents like Clinton and Obama and Comey and Clapper, and if he raised some of these departments and agencies to the ground and he did the mass deportations, he would be forgiven. He's a lame duck, and that could cut both ways. You could say nothing new can come out of it. He can't win again. At the same time, you would say he could kind of burn the house down on his way out, meaning not necessarily destructive, but he could really go for it. And he could really go for the institutions and really go for these bad people. And this is a crisis. This is like a hot potato. He has it. Pass it to the next person, double it and pass it to Hillary Clinton. Why is he caught holding the bag and dying with the Epstein thing? So, if I were him, and I'm not him, but if I was, and you can kind of see that he's doing this, he's flirting with the idea, take this political football, punt it, use it to blow up the left, use it to blow up the Democrat side, use it to raise some of these intelligence agencies, use this to split with Israel, and some of this other stuff. There's opportunities on the table for him to have like a second wind, like a second act here in this already bad start for the second term. I just have no faith that he's going to take it, because what that would involve, I don't think he's capable of it. I don't think he's willing it. And that's sad. But if I were him, that's what I would do. Never let a crisis go to waste.
And you got
the
Susie
Democrats.
Wiles. So who do you see as a villain in the administration?
Susie Wiles, Brooke Rollins, I would say this John Ratcliffe at the CIA. These are all terrible choices. I think probably the better people are Tulsi Gabbard. Even her I don't trust, though. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't trust her. And I don't trust J.D. Vance. I think he's a yes man. I think that he is a chameleon. But those would be the people that I would get rid of right out of the gate. The chief of staff, CIA director. Tulsi Gabbard, she's not even doing a good job as the DNI. You know, we need someone, I would say she's ideologically presented as more sound. She's not doing a good job. I would just purge the whole thing. I think Kristi Noem's got to go. She's way more focused on, the former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, than she is, I think, on immigration. I would say that Stephen Miller's got to go, contrary to what people say. I think he's just got to purge the whole lot of them because there's no results. And when there's no results, people got to go. But
he should purge himself too, right? Right, Nick? I think Nick actually believes that. Like, yeah, purge yourself too. Like, get out of here. Like, leave. Nick. Okay, this guy's being featured on, by the way, on left-wing style commentary, I guess, from CNN to Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski to what was the most recent thing I just saw him in, like, referenced in. He's not far right, whatever the fuck, right? He's like actually like different, like right-wing influencer, right? Like people are actually doing that with Nick Fuentes now because of his critiques of Trump, which kind of showcases the desperation. But either way, whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. Okay, here we go. I got nothing.
I would start with Wiles, Rollins, Kristi Noem, John Ratcliffe, Tulsi Gabbard because she's not doing a good job, Pete Hegseth because he's malleable, even though some say he's on side. Rubio, he's got to go yesterday. He's terrible. Those would be the ones I get rid of. And then everybody else I get rid of the day after.
Rubio literally threatened to attack me physically, but he seems to be singing from a MAGA script. What's wrong with Rubio?
What's wrong with Rubio?
That's been a line I've heard on social media. But, I mean, there was this memo that came out the other day. He's pushing the president to take a tougher line on Russia, China, Venezuela, Iran. He's leading the charge to take people's citizenship at the State Department and deport them for anti-Semitism. He was pushing, I believe, some of the regime change stuff against Iran. So
let me ask you, I'm sure you've seen the ambassador to
let
Israel,
me cut you off.
Send a letter 2 weeks ago saying, please stop attacking Christians. And the settlers are attacking Christian ancient churches in the West Bank and other areas. And even the huge Christian Zionists, the former governor of Arkansas is coming out and saying, please stop. And now they've burned down more churches. What do you make of that behavior?
I think it's a load of crap. I think it's meant to placate us. I think that Israel messed up when they shot that church, and they knew they messed up because even a lot of the big Zionists said, okay, we have a problem. You tried to shoot a cross off a church and you clearly missed. And
that's been a thing, by the way. Remember the Pope that died was giving daily phone calls to people in churches in Gaza that were continuously being bombed and shot at and all that stuff. Once again, there's Jewish people in Gaza getting shot at, being subjugated. It's not about religions at all. Sorry, guys. Sorry to disappoint, but they're here. Like, those guys, in my opinion, as devil worshippers, don't give a fuck, bro. They are there to harm whoever's in their way of their whatever they want to whatever they want to happen, or whatever territory, or like whatever they want. Like, if you're in the way, you're gonna get shit on, basically. Until good people say no more, honestly. But here we go.
There's no excuse for that, especially with everything else that people have been forced to defend and put up with. I think when Mike Huckabee says they're putting pressure on Israel not to attack Christians, I think that's performative. And the reason I think it's performative is because, look,
there's proof. That's why
Washington holds all the cards with all of it. We give them the weapons. Like, they're totally dependent on us.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm saying
there's proof, as in, like, when Trump goes to visit the Middle East, we heard Huckabee in that time period saying things about, oh, maybe Israel should chill out, They should do this or do that. But meanwhile, it's like, you're saying that so that Trump has a smooth, easy ride through the Middle East, then comes back home. Duh. So why am I taking this new thing seriously? I mean, I'll listen to it for sure. I'll listen to it, but why is there no like actual scrutiny of the idea of it? I'm just saying. And I think Nick probably knows that to some degree, if I had to guess. Alex is here. Sorry. Maybe Alex knows too, but he's not here for truth and honesty. He's here for something else, in my humble opinion. Anyways, here we go.
Performative is because, look, Washington holds all the cards with all of it. We give them the weapons. Like, they're totally dependent on us.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm saying,
He cuts them
why
off.
would Israel
It's
be
Charlie
blowing
Kirk
up
with Dave
churches
Smith.
and firebombing ancient Christian settlements when the Protestant Christian Zionists send them billions a year? It just shows, let's put it to the next level.
I think they've lost control. I think even to some extent the IDF.
What do you
I mean,
say?
they're shooting people in the back of the head getting aid, and those are Muslims. They're blowing up churches. That church, the cardinal there, Pisabella, he was calling Pope Francis every day as Pope Francis prayed for Gaza. And you know the Israelis had to hate that. They hate that the Catholic Church is speaking out against the war. They hate that every time something happens, the Catholic Church calls for Israel to stop the invasion. They hate that Francis was calling the church. And so I think whether it came from the top or whether it was freelancing in the IDF, they said, you know what? It's time to let's take a shot at these Catholics. Enough calling for the end of the war, enough praying for the people of Gaza. I think they are just totally bloodthirsty and emboldened. I think, the way
and nothing to do with Catholics, by the way, for Nick fans. Sorry, it's about it doesn't matter. If Nick Fuentes was a nobody, not a YouTuber or a content creator, and he's just some guy in Gaza, guess what? He would get shit on too, equally. If Nick Fuentes was Jewish and a nobody sitting in Gaza, he would get shit on. Sorry, guys, to tell you that, but that is what happens. Forgive me. Here we go.
They've been conducting this entire thing with the aid sites. They're clearly emboldened because, whether it's shooting the church, and as a Catholic, I'm mortified. That's such a horrible thing. But at the same time, they're also murdering and starving people to death while even Trump and the Europeans are telling them, you got to feed these people.
Sure, but you're talking about you're talking about Gaza blowing up the church. They're now burning down the West Bank Christian communities.
Well, and here's my point is I think that the Israelis just don't care. That's kind of my point is if the Israelis cared about winning over the public and getting people on their side, they would have been doing a lot of things differently, whether it's the Christian communities in Gaza or the West Bank. The settlers
point is
that
to
are
get the job
spitting
done.
on the Christian missionaries there. That's what Huckabee was referring to. That's something that's been going on for a long time. To the extent that Huckabee's taking up that issue, I think that's damage control. I think that's a big farce.
I agree. He wants to get all that money. He leads those groups there. So then the larger question is looking at Russia and Ukraine and Trump with a 10-day ultimatum issued 2 days ago to Russia.
What? Because Nick could tie that to the Trump administration as a whole if he wanted to. He really could. And Alex is like, oh, well, yeah, but Ukraine, Russia, what? I wish I could got away with shit like that, but I don't, apparently. So, here we go.
So where do you see that going?
Lock in.
I think it's going where you think it's going. I think it's going nuclear. This is an escalation. And like everything else, Trump only knows one language, which is escalation and these maximalist demands. The reason that he's making this 10-day ultimatum is because he is bent over backwards to make a deal with Putin. And he's gone through these big gestures, meeting with them in Riyadh in the first few weeks, a very high-level meeting, the Secretary of State and the Foreign Minister. He's made these overtures to normalize relations. And Putin is not biting. Putin is not giving him anything. Trump is throwing Zelensky under the bus. He's going against the Europeans. And Putin will not give him an inch. And so I think Trump is just, like everything else, he's pissed off. And he's just saying, you know what, F this guy. That's effectively where we are. It's basically what he's saying. He's saying, look, Putin doesn't want to end the war. Okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. You want Joe Biden back? I'll give you Joe Biden on steroids. It's the same thing he did with China. It's the same thing he did with Canada with some of the tariffs. It's the same thing he did with the Houthis.
No, I agree with you. So why is Russia not making a deal?
Because Russia's winning. Russia's in the middle of this summer offensive. The warfare is all drone-based. Russia's leading the way on the battlefield in innovation. They've got these fiber optic drones. They're attached by a cable. And so they are making more advances into Ukraine this summer than they have basically since the beginning of the war, since the very beginning.
That's right.
And it's going to go that way.
Fiber optic drones.
Right. And Ukraine has no counter for that right now. So, you know, there's this rapid innovation happening on the battlefield. Russia's leading it. And I think that, you know, why is Russia going to give up now? They're gobbling up all this land and they're saying maybe they'll make a deal in the future, but they want to get as much as they can before they make a deal. And so both sides are being greedy. The United States is being greedy. Russia's being greedy. Russia wants to have the best position to make a deal. So does the United States. And so they're both saying, you know, we don't want to make a deal, but especially Russia is saying, we don't want to make a deal just yet. We want to take more. Then we'll make a deal when we're in a better position.
All right, let's take a few calls. I agree with you on that. But Democrats, what are their aces in the holes? They've been saying Tom Homan is going to kill migrants. Clearly setting up a false flag. They've been wanting a summer of rage. You know, the No Kings protests, that all failed. The hitman up there killing people says he.
Yo, Alex, you've been so worried about them using any excuse to tighten the grips on Americans' like civil liberties, right? But yet, the idea of Tom Homan or Tulsi Gabbard or whoever the fuck, right? Homeland Security, right? Kristi Noem, right? Whatever. Of using that as like, hey, look, Iran and China are trying to like cross the border, cross the southern border. So thus, we need these new rules in place. It's like, how do you excuse that? Unless you're like either a senile old man or a bought and paid for little stooge. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going with stooge, personally. I think this guy's full of shit. Full of shit. Apparently, Nick can't see that because he's a fucking child. Apparently. Don't worry, it'll take him like, once again, 10-year limit. 2035. That's his limit. July 2035. That is Nick's limit. If he's still on the train, even though you should know already, but whatever. By then, he's full of shit for you guys. Got it. 10-year window. Anyways, here we go.
He works for Tampon Tim. What are the Democrats
I wish I could be that stupid and just get away with it.
I think they still don't
know. Guys, give me your money.
They appear to still be in disarray. There is no leader of the Democrats. There's no strong messaging. What they will run on in the next year is the big, beautiful bill, which is extremely unpopular. They're going to run on corporate tax cuts for Medicaid, fighting the oligarchy, fighting the king, the immigration stuff, and Epstein. That's going to be their playbook. As far as instability, I do agree that the deep state, it's clear they're ginning up something. And the question is really more like, are we going to get an Israeli false flag or a Democrat false flag first? Are we going to get like some kind of ICE false flag by the Democrats, or are we going to get a Hamas, Hezbollah false flag?
Israel's planning.
Damn, Nick is a fucking bot, bro. He's moved by Alex. I think he's like moved by him. Fuck, bro. Like, come on. Like, open your like. Imagine Alex is not there, Nick. Imagine Alex is not there. Free flow your ideas. Let it fly, man. Say what you think, what you believe in. Say it. Topic is here, right in front of your faces. Or right in front of your face. Sorry. Say it. Say what you actually think of, like, possible loopholes and backdoor fuck yous to people that believe in something real, as Nick claims to be, right? Like, explain all of it. Like Alex is not here. Do it. He cuts you off and say, sorry, Alex, I was not finished with my point. Let me go back to my point. And go over it again and again and again, and then make Alex, like, make make Alex deal with that. I was going to say stand your ground, but Alex has no ground to stand on, in my humble opinion. But here we go.
Question of what?
Netanyahu ran 9/11. He's planning to do that. Or will we get or both false flag on the illegal aliens?
I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion, and we might even get something organic. You know, I mean, the left, they really have no options in the sense that, yeah, they might have something where they're really leaning into this thing where they're saying that the illegal immigrants are being stripped of their civil liberties, or illegal immigrants are getting caught up in the dragnet. That doesn't even seem to be working. What is going to happen, though, is another left-wing nut job is going to kill a bunch of people, and that is going to sink them.
So
where's that?
We're going to take a few calls and let you go. It's been a good discussion. In your view, if you were Trump, what would you do to extricate yourself from the path he's on right now? I mean, is there any way to say what Trump's doing?
Yo, Trump, throw your hands out there and say, arrest me. I've committed crimes. But also, these guys committed crimes too. That's your best bet. As far as, like, reality of, like, dealing with the situation, like, yeah. Throw your wrist out there and say, like, yo, arrest me. I committed crimes against humanity. That's your best bet. Otherwise, you're full of shit. It makes no difference. Like, it means nothing. If Obama got arrested under Trump because Trump said so or something like that, means nothing unless Trump goes in jail himself too. Not that I'm cheering for that, right? I don't like prisons and the way they treat people and all that shit, but I'm just saying, like, in general, based on your guys' principles, if Obama goes to jail, so does fucking Trump. Clear as day, he goes to jail too. For, like, actual reasons, yeah, they both go to jail. But then again, I have a brain. Here we go.
The only pathway is forward, always forward. So, look, if he's getting hit over Epstein, he's got to give the base more. Take advantage of the crisis.
Pause.
You know, and maybe it wasn't
What?
5D chess. Obviously, it wasn't.
Strategy?
But play it like it was anyway. If there's this big demand for the files, just act like you were playing it that way anyway. Dump the stuff on the Clintons, dump the stuff on these people. Go out, even use it as leverage against Israel.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's a no-brainer.
Okay, so even if he's a part of it, then do that, Nick, or no? What if he's a part of it? Then he can't do that, right, Nick? Then it's turn yourself over type, like, time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know with either one of these fucking idiots, but Nick is a little bit more disappointing because I maybe expect a little bit more than fucking dumb fuck Alex Jones. But anyways, here we go. Okay.
So why won't he do it?
I don't know. It depends on what's in him, you know, and maybe that raises the question: is it a mutually assured destruction? Like that seems to me to be the obvious, because that's what people say. They say, why did Biden not use it against Trump? Why won't Trump use it against the Democrats? Probably because there's mutually assured destruction. If the Democrats used it on Trump, they would burn up.
Which is the dangerous game. Senator Wyden's trying to get Epstein's bank records. The Democrats are doing the DOJ. I totally agree. It's mutually assured destruction. So why are they doing it? Because I don't think these Congress people realize what they're doing.
If you use simple war crimes, like, yeah, and no one can bring anyone into court at that point because they're all complicit, right? With war crimes and blatant crimes against your sensibilities of, like, what someone should, like, actually do in life, yeah, they'd be guilty of that. Maybe not lawfully, right? Maybe the president is immune to something or whatever the fuck. Or, you know, international law, like, legal loopholes and all that shit. Fine. But, like, us as people, right, as human beings, fuck the laws on paper. As people, we'd be like, wait a minute, you're full. Like, fuck you for doing that shit. And guess what? That applies all different directions when you look at our government, bro. Honestly. Or the people that are in there. Sorry. Right? Maybe the ideas in the government are okay, or like decent or okay or whatever the fuck, but like the people that are actually in there and what they do is not okay, I think, by most people's standards. So thus, yeah, that is the mad situation, right? Mutually assured destruction. That is that scenario. Or if you bring up the bombings of people that have nothing to do with warfare, yeah, they're both fucking blatantly guilty. Blatantly. But don't worry. Epstein, I guess, or whatever Alex Jones says is okay because the new golden era of America is now commenced. Congratulations, guys. You won. You won, guys. You won. There you go.
Yeah, they're playing a dangerous game. Then again, it's a generational thing. Maybe the Democrats think that it's not going to hurt them that bad. It's these guys like Bill Clinton. Epstein's operation was really the labor Democrat alliance from the 90s. Labor in the UK, Labor in Israel, the Dems in the United States. That was in the 90s. So I think maybe some of the younger guys are thinking, we're going to push on this. It's hurting Trump. Maybe it's like this, it's this effect where they just want to hit Trump by any means necessary. So maybe they're not aware of the risks of this.
All the evidence points towards them getting in trouble. So then why is Trump covering it up? I keep repeating the same question. It's idiotic. Because if he had thought he was involved, I would have supported him. That's why any evidence, I'll turn his ass in a second. But then why is he acting guilty when I don't see evidence of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question. Because we don't know what's in them, we can only speculate. And since he's in them, he's named in them, he knows he's named in them, you got to know that he must be worried about an indictment or even the appearance of impropriety, which could lead to an impeachment. That's the other thing is he's in office. So if we lose the midterms, if the Republicans lose the midterms and something is damning in those files, they'll impeach him. Maybe he's worried about that.
Let me ask you guys before I take a few calls. What do you think should happen with this Crossfire Hurricane? Talking about indictments, more talk?
They had him on war crimes, and ironically enough, I think Tulsi Gabbard actually brought that up, of going after him for war crimes, or something like that. Well, maybe not war crimes. Probably like a baby version of that. But, of course, nothing happened with that. And now she's his DNI, and thus it looks like funny money. It looks like Monopoly money at that point, right? We're playing with funny standards, fake standards. So it's either like actually do the fucking thing, or be a sideline character. I guess making content off of it, or having your little corner of the internet about it. Honestly. Then again, who gives a fuck? There's no standards for anything nowadays, apparently. Sorry. Glass half empty. Forgive me. Here we go.
I think it's all talk. They've talked and talked about that. I'm not going to hold my breath for them to bring charges. It's a load of crap every time, Very frustrating. You and I, we're the victims of lawfare. Somehow all of our enemies, even though we win the White House twice, they never do. I think it's honestly infuriating. Don't talk about it, do it. Trump posts these AI edits of him like arresting Obama. Yeah, you're the president. You don't need to make a cartoon about it. Do it. Pick up the phone, sign the damn executive order, and you do it. And MAGA needs to get better about that. MAGA loves taking the bait, and they see a funny post on Truth Social and go, LOL, this is the best. Dude, I'm sick of advertisements and AI edits. He's the president. Dude, make something happen. Take action. There's a lot of forgiveness if he would reward his base, but he does nothing. And that's the problem. So, and the base needs to get better about being vocal about that and stick up for themselves. They're afraid. They're defending Trump. They're negotiating with themselves. We need to ask better of Trump.
No, I agree,
there could be
because
forgiveness.
As soon as I and you and others came out 3 weeks ago on Trump, so this is insane, the whole influencer thing attacked us and said we were Democrats. Now they have to admit, oh, God, this was a disaster. Are they getting talking points?
Why am I still recording?
Obviously they are. These people are a joke.
They're totally getting talking points. That's clear because they're all running the same script. Every real, authentic patriot is pissed about the Epstein files because it's indefensible. I mean, we've all seen it. We all know what it is. It's literally indefensible the way it's been handled. And all they can bring themselves to say about it is these talking points about, oh, well, Trump kicked Epstein out of his club. Oh, well, you know, it's a Democrat thing. Oh, it's five-dimensional chess. So it's literally being coordinated in group chats.
To not be true.
A script has gone out. They're being paid by PACs or, you know, something like Influenceable or something like that. And people should take note of who's defending this.
No, I agree, but
they lost a lot of credibility.
Yeah,
I'm
Alex.
just trying to figure out a way out of this.
Like, yeah, Alex. Huh? Yo, Alex. We need to find out who is, like, giving credibility to this bullshit and, like, call them out. Instantly, Alex Jones starts talking. Like, come on. Come on, guys. Like, what do we do with that? Come on. Anyways, all right, here we go. Once again, I'm a dumb guy. Sorry. Forgive me. I'm pretty dumb on stuff like this, apparently. To a lot of Nick or Alex fans, I'm pretty dumb on this, so I will shut up and let them handle business. Handle that business. All right, here we go.
And wargaming it, but it looks progressively worse every day.
Geniuses.
And then I just ask myself, why did Trump have to destroy himself on this hill? There's not evidence, and that's the big question.
He's doing the 80s parties.
Right, Nick's been very nice to do this interview, this debate, and I want to let him go soon. The crew's been here since 6 a.m. So let's go ahead and take a few phone calls. We'll move quickly. Your questions or comments for Nick Fuentes, Nick J. Fuentes on Rumble and on X. I'm the real Alex Jones.
Okay, I'm going to cut it there. Before I guess they're going to get some audience questions. If there's anything interesting about this part, I will make a separate video about it if I watch it more. But right now, I'm good there. Okay. All right. I think Crystal Ball had more balls than Nick Fuentes as far as the videos I just covered recently, like today, right? Recently. But you know what? I'm still leaving room for Nick Fuentes not being completely full of shit. I'll leave room for that. Although his fans don't care. They need unadulterated dick riding. Otherwise, it doesn't count, apparently. But I accept that, you know? I accept you guys. You may not accept me, but I accept you. All right, there's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. Please let it be known. What do you think? I thought this was like kind of interesting from Nick's perspective, but also lackluster because he's talking to a performative dick rider, a guy who like plays security, Kevin Costner in The Bodyguard. That is Alex Jones for now, for me at least. I see nothing that showcases that he's like an actual critical thinker in regards to any of this shit. So Nick should have killed him on that, but he didn't. Because I guess Alex is like a nice guy or something. So good luck with that. But yeah, tell me in the comment section. Please check all the links. Major pause. Pause. All the links in the description box. Please check them out. Share them, read them, donate to them, please, maybe, if you want to, do that. And obviously, most importantly, please, without a shadow of a doubt, please give this video a thumbs down. Fuck my life.